And we're recording now.
Beautiful.
So we're good to go.
Cool.
Hold up. I'm just gonna...
Oh, you can have your roller chair back. That's what
Yes, I can rev up those fryers. We can rub them up every day.
So we're gonna
Beautiful.
essentially split.
Okay.
So that's that. But I need to be able to fit so you could see me on there.
Oh, fine. Okay.
So let's make sure that
You can. I think so.
is good.
There's many screens, but that's okay.
It's a lot, yeah.
It's cool though. I like it.
And you can start. I'm just gonna update something.
All right. Hey guys, on all platforms. My name is Kara. I'm here with Vitana today, one of my very good friends, and we're streaming. So today doesn't necessarily have like a full-blown theme for me. I kind of wanted to do more of like a question answer kind of thing if anybody does have any questions, and if not, I can tell you guys more about what I do and about who I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, you could start with that. So.
All right, cool.
Just who you are, whatever that means to you.
Yeah,
and
dope.
The different things that you're doing.
So first and foremost, I am a human being, which is pretty cool. Like most of you are, I assume. Okay, no, but actually. So I am 21 years old. Here's my bio. I go to UMass Lowell currently, based in Lowell, Massachusetts. I'm from Lowell, Mass, born and raised, which is super cool. I love my city. Like Vitana also here is from Lowell himself. So I'm a senior at UMass Lowell. I am studying English, so I'm an English major there in my last year of undergrad, so I'm a senior. And I study English literature there, and I also have a double minor in education and sociology, which is pretty cool. Basically, I like people and how they work and their inner workings and how they work in society with one another, and I like to teach. So I guess if we're tacking off things on my bio, sort of, I'm a dancer and I'm a singer. I'm a performer. So I love the performing arts. Dancing is one of the big things that I do with Vitana. We've done projects going back from, like 2-3 years now. The neighborhood represent a long time ago. Doing Dance for Peace, Lowell Community Health Center, Team Block represent my babes. So I do that. I run Prototype Dance Crew at UMass Lowell. We're an urban dance team, and it's such a cool experience being captain of that team. I've been on it for 4 years now, which is crazy, but super cool, super fun. So dancing and singing, I'm in an all-female a cappella group on campus as well called From Out of Nowhere. We like puns, apparently. We wear blue lipstick because UMass Lowell blue, but it's just kind of cool. We're known for that. There's 4 groups on campus. We're the second of the all-female identified a cappella group, so super cool. That's kind of what I do. So I spend my life doing that. I work a bunch as well as going to school full-time. And dancing and running a team and everything. We had a little blurb in my poster from beforehand. But, I'm a substitute teacher for Lowell Public Schools, which is super cool. I love working with high schoolers. I've actually worked, at Lowell Community Health Center's Team Block before. I've interned for them because I love the age range of 14 to 18. We can get into that more why after, because they're a really cool age of kids. Okay. Super fun to work with them. So I do that sometimes. I do sales at a couple different places. I work at the Songus Arena, which is kind of cool. That's always fun to do concerts and stuff. And where else do I work? Sales. Oh, I also do social media. Surprise! Hi, we're on social media. I'm pretty active on social media myself on a daily basis. I would say most people that do end up kind of following what I'm doing or whatever, see that typically. But I do social media also for student activities, the Office of Student Activities and Leadership at UMass. So I'm their Facebook person. Surprise, we're on Facebook. Not affiliated. Love UMass. But I do that every day as well. I take pictures. I love doing photography too. Super cool. Yeah, that's a lot. So I do that on my daily life. So school and work and dance and friends. And I love hanging out with people and vibing. Vibing's a big one. If I'm with friends, I'm happy. So, yeah, super cool. So I think
I could go straight
tech
to
expert
questions.
he is.
I just finished promoting a little bit, just making sure people know.
Beautiful.
It makes a difference.
Cool.
So my question is, and I'm practicing taking notes because it helps me
I love notes.
after.
Yeah.
when I post or edit stuff later. So you do a lot. People who do a lot usually have a lot going on in their mind.
Of course.
Do you have mental breakdowns? Because I used to have a lot of those.
Yo, that's a dope question. That's a really cool question. I get that question a lot, like from friends, family, teachers, people all the time. They're like, okay, so, because in reality, if you were like really were to just slice out my life, it sounds insane, but it's all about balance. Because I technically have 4 jobs, am full-time in school, like fully like being a student, like 5 classes, which is full-time for undergrad. I run a dance team and I'm in 2 other clubs on campus. And I do that, and I still spend time with friends, and I still do my own things creatively, and I still get sleep. Yes, I do sleep. People don't think I do, but I do, I promise, because it's very important for you. Yeah, so that sounds literally insane. People are like, how do you do that? What do you go about in your daily life that you can actually balance that? And it is hard. So I don't think I personally ever experienced having like an actual mental breakdown, because I'm a big organizer kind of, and I guess the organization helps in like what I do in my daily life, but also just the fact in my head, because if you have like papers the week after Thanksgiving, we come back, right? We have a half week this week. We come back after Thanksgiving and I have 3 big things due on the same day, always, because that's how it works, right? So I can look at that coming head on and be like, holy shit, holy poop, excuse me. I have like 3 papers on a presentation all due on Tuesday, November 28th. And I can be like, wow, that's a lot. Because it is, obviously, for anybody. But you kind of just break it down week by week. And sometimes in my weeks, I break it down day by day. So if you look at things like that, I know it's like something common people usually say, like, don't look at the whole mountain, look at like the little steps to, but it really does help, actually, because if you're not doing that and you're just looking at the whole picture crazy, then you're going to overwhelm yourself very easily.
Okay.
Yeah, so just planning and organizing. I write a lot of things down. I have my own, not really a calendar, because I don't like how calendars are so spaced out. I just have like a note scroll on my phone. I can actually show you. I have a note scroll on my phone, and I literally just take a bunch of notes there the whole time, to be honest. And I go week by week. I have a lot of notes, which is pretty cool. But I'll go month by month, and I don't know if you guys can actually like see it fully. And like, I'll put my brightness up. But like literally like, I don't know if I can. We'll show Facebook first. So like November or whatever, right? Like you can't know if you can see. You probably can see that. Anyway, I just have like a bunch of notes all on my phone that literally like I go week by week.
Okay.
And I like mark off what I do and what I don't do. I love making checklists, again, digitally, because I have like a lot of little things that always come up in my head, like whenever I have to do something. And it could be something like eat or post on social media, because again, I do that kind of daily just because I really like sharing my life with people. I think it's a really cool thing. And I have like a bunch of little things to do, and like just getting them done and then like deleting it off my list like is really, really refreshing. Whether you write it down, you cross it off, or you just like take it off on a checklist or whatever. I do that all the time because you have to, or else I literally don't. And like with schoolwork and stuff, I'm usually good with deadlines and just knowing what's coming up because I go week by week. But again, it's kind of like rush time now from right now to the end of the semester. It's only about a 3-week time period, and there's a lot due for 5 different classes. So I literally had spaced out like week 1 through week whatever, like 4 or 5, and I went through and I was like, what's due on each day, so I can look at that head on. And like then you see it and you're like, it's a mass of 5 weeks of things that I have to create in my brain and pass in. But then I take it out chunk by chunk, and I'm like, all right, this week I have these 2 things due. When am I going to get them done? And how do I go about that? And people also ask me if I'm a procrastinator. Yes, I am. Not crazy. I'm very much like if I'm a late to be early person, I think that I'm late, that kind of thing.
Okay.
So if I space it out, I'll space it out in terms of saying like, okay, I really need to get this done by this certain time, and then I usually still give myself more leeway time because it comes right up on you. Anything, doesn't school or not, just like anything to like prepare yourself for, or you know what I mean. Pre-planning and planning your nights ahead is also a huge thing. Like before I go to bed at night, my room is clean. My stuff is picked out for the next day. I always carry a tote bag with me. I should have brought it. Can I go get it? I'm gonna show you. Not what's in my tote bag, but just like what the tote bag looks like, because I'm gonna promote really quick. It's not my brand or anything, but I bring this thing literally everywhere with me. It's my Shop Lowell tote bag. She's super cute.
That's tight.
Got it from Mill Number 5. In Lowell, really cool place. If you haven't been there, it's a reconstructed mill, and they have all really cool shops. And it's like zippered. I bring this thing with me like literally every day. It has everything, like hydration, food, sometimes like clothes. Like if I'm going a whole day, and I need to pack a bag, I will pack my bag at like 7 a.m. and I'm not home until 1 o'clock in the morning. But I have everything I need with me for the day.
I see. That's good.
Because I can't, because I live in a dorm on campus. Even though I'm from Lowell, I've still like done housing, which is a super cool experience. Living with other people. I have another sister. Hi, Joanna. What up? Wanted to shout out. Here it is. It fit perfectly. She's super cool. And she goes to UMass too. But I'm used to living with her because I'm one of 2 siblings. I'm the oldest. Surprise. But living with other people really helps too. And they encourage you. But like sometimes you really don't want to do something before you go to bed. You're like, I just want to go to bed. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's pushing yourself past that. But also, if I have a lot of work to do and I can do it in the morning, if I'm there on my computer and I'm literally falling asleep, there's no point in me doing it.
Yeah.
It's not going to be quality if I do that.
I agree.
Pushing yourself like that, like I'd rather go to sleep at 1 and wake up at 7 to finish something instead of going to sleep at 4 and waking up at 9.
Yeah.
Because like I'll literally be like half dead doing it at like 4 a.m. It's not worth my time.
I agree.
Yeah, and your rest always comes first, because then I wake up and then I like just know I have to wake up and go to it, or else there's gonna be consequences, and I really don't like passing anything in late or anything like that. So, yeah, super cool.
We always stay up late together.
I know, yeah. I'm with Carla is also here. She's saying hello. So is Tony. Carla used to live with me. Was it 1 year or 2 years? Just 1 year? Last year, right? Yeah. I've known Carla for a long time. Carla Franco. She's super cute, super cool. One of my really good friends. And we'd always be the ones up late night at the dorm. Last year, like crazy. Be like, well, it's 3 a.m. I guess it's time to go to bed. Yeah, more like 4. It's okay. I do sleep. I promise. So that's what I do to stay organized. So back to your question, I've never had a mental breakdown fully, but things are hard every day if you don't take the time to break it down.
Yes.
And sometimes you don't even have time to break it down. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like that's where it gets stressful. Because then like things do come at you, or like you're like, wow, like you're sitting there and it's like November, you're like, that's due in December. And then you look and you're like, December's literally in a week. And you're like, oh no. And you're like, I have to get it done.
Yeah.
That happens all the time. Yeah. So the thing is though, like, again, I procrastinate, but not necessarily. I do on my terms, but not on other people's terms, I guess. Cause I don't pass stuff in late.
Okay.
I hate doing that. School has made it so obviously it's like a penalty, but I do it in my daily life too. You know what I mean? Another thing that I've recently experienced when it comes to that is because I'm so big on social media, I've realized that what I end up doing is if I'm out for the day or if I'm at an event or if I'm with people, I like to try to be in the moment more. So I don't like to sit there, record something or take a picture and then stop to post it. What I actually end up kind of doing is, because I am so busy, I take all my things during the day and then like I'll take an hour at night and like dump post all of it.
Okay.
And be like, from earlier in my day today, this is this.
I see.
Yeah, do you notice that? Because I can't, I starting and stopping, if I'm somewhere
I
actually
don't
is a
like
pain in
doing
the
it
butt.
whenever I'm doing it. I
Yeah,
fucking hate that.
no, like we had a beautiful Friendsgiving last night that was awesome. And I
That's
just,
different.
yeah, I just posted a bunch of pictures and everything from it, but I posted them like this afternoon or this morning. Because like I don't want to post it when I was there during it. It takes away from it. And I like quality content. So I could just slap a picture on there and go, but if I want to make it actually enjoyable for the viewer, because I'm so big on photography, I take the time to, like make it look like, pleasing to the eye and to actually like write about it and not just be like, here's a picture because I wanted to put it out there. Like I wait now. That's a new thing, but it's because I have more things happening. But balance, kids, it's all about balance. A very long answer to your question, but that's what I do.
No, it's good. Details are extremely important.
Beautiful. I love details. We have some people saying hello. Hi, Bridget. Bridget Linane. She had a live stream with you a couple weeks ago. That was super cool.
She didn't want to leave.
I know. I checked that out with her. Ashley Morehouse. Hi, Ashley. Hi, love. Natasha Ayala, another one of our really good friends, just had a workshop at UMass Lowell for my dance crew prototype on this past Friday, and Ashley came with a couple of her other friends, and I know Ashley's one of Natasha's students, and you did such a good job, girlfriend. Good job. It was super fun watching you. Who else? Anybody? Some other people. Hello to everybody that is here. I want people to look at comments. So these are comments on where? Show me.
That's Twitch, but that's from
Different.
the past stream. Yeah,
Okay,
so
cool.
Nothing happens on there.
Cool. So this Facebook's doing its thing.
I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
So there are easily two types of, and this is just like throwing it out there,
Yeah.
recognizing that there are hardcore planners, non-planners at all,
Mm-hmm.
and then people who kind of take from both here and there.
Mm-hmm.
So for someone who's a planner,
Yes.
when things don't work out, what happens? Like, what do you actually do? What happens? What is the result of, like, wow,
That didn't go as
I
planned.
missed something, or I didn't get that check mark?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because that does happen.
Yes. So then what happens? Like, what is your
Yeah.
reaction to that? What do you do?
So the biggest thing, again, I've learned a lot, I would say maybe in the past year about this, because I've always handled a lot, or what people see as a lot. But to me, if it's enjoyable, I'm just kind of living my life, even if it seems like I'm taking on a lot. But things do not work out, because that's what life does to you, right? So it throws you curveballs, because it's not supposed to be perfect. If it was perfect, it wouldn't be fun. So you have to keep pushing forward when it comes to that. But so if it doesn't work out, so if it's a minimal thing, like I set a goal for myself for the day, I have a paper to write, and say I didn't write as much as I wanted to do that day. There's a reason for that, right? So you'll kind of pick up back where I left off tomorrow.
Okay.
Or if I had something to do, and it's kind of more, I've never liked surprises. I've never been one for surprises technically, and I've noticed that because I like being in control a lot when it comes to that. And I've noticed that since when I was little. And going throughout your day, you're like, all right, if this is planned, you have like your itinerary. I don't really set an itinerary for myself. It's just kind of like my day-to-day schedule. But if I was supposed to do something and I got sidetracked doing something, like it happens at school a lot. If I'm walking somewhere, or if I'm in my dorm and I live with my sister and 6 other of our really good friends, and I'm up and I'm supposed to be doing work, but I end up having a really cool conversation, I just kind of realized that conversation was supposed to happen. And then I go to bed feeling full because of that conversation and feeling good, and then I wake up and I do my things or whatever. Or if, or that, those are like distractions of like people, and that's awesome because I love when I get to talk to people and vibe no matter what's going on. Now, you're talking, I think, also about if it's not like a person or something.
All encompassing.
Yeah, I feel like if something really derails you,
Yeah.
if you have something really important that you have to do,
Sure,
or just something, and it really throws you off, and you're like,
Yeah.
shit, well, that really threw me off. And you're like, the biggest thing is like recollecting yourself, because nothing is actually the end of the world, even though like it could really seem like that sometimes.
Yeah. Of course.
It seems like that a lot sometimes. So even if it's something that might seem catastrophic or something that really threw you off and you're like, damn, this threw me off and I don't know how to deal with it necessarily, it's all about taking a step back for a second. And like there's always a, plan A, B, C, D. There's always those. You always trying to keep to your plan A because that's what your immediate goal was. But if you have to go down to B, don't even think about it as going down to it. Just think about it as like switching directions. Because like if you think of it as doing what you're like not supposed to do now, you're gonna be disappointed in yourself about holding expectations about yourself and what you have to do. Okay. So if you're not so hard on yourself and you're still like, I'm gonna get that done. Like if you miss a paper deadline or something in terms of school, and I know I'm referencing school a lot, but I'm in school currently, so those are a lot of the deadlines that I physically have to meet. Ask for an extension, or be like, or try to work around it. Or if you really can't get an extension, whether it be paper or anything in life, and you just have to deal with the consequences of it and know to not do that next time, or know how to look at it a different way so you can better yourself to do it differently next time. So don't look at things as the end all to be all, because nothing is ever the end all to be all. Things are always changing every day, whether it be people or deadlines or whatever it is. You got to just kind of go with the flow and work with it, work around it.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah. That's what I always have to tell myself. It's very busy. It's what you kind of have to do. But sometimes being very busy is like cute to say, but life is like, nah, even if you're busy, that's okay. I'm gonna do something different for you. And they're like, okay, never mind. I'm not gonna be the busy that I thought it was going to be. Or like it comes at you differently. So it's about kind of working around it, because again, that's also happened to me a lot, where you think something's going to happen one way and then it derails you, and then you kind of just have to hop back on and do it differently. But being persistent, but not persistent enough where you like browbeat yourself down because of it, but persistent enough to keep going, I guess, like healthily keep going. Yeah. I would say that makes sense. I'm gonna look at the comments on my phone too.
Oh, do you have like separate things?
No,
'Cause I
I'm
was
just-
like, it should be there.
Is it still right there? Okay,
Yeah,
just making
it's-
sure.
Just tap the new comments because I don't think it was like completely at the bottom. There you go. It should be consistent.
Is it consistent now?
Yeah.
Okay. Bridget says that Fatana should eat some more kale.
I don't have any at the moment,
He has none.
or else I would. Cause
Monica joined and said hi. So did Andrew and Kelly. Hi, Kelly, babe. It was so nice to see you yesterday.
what's up?
I don't know if y'all are still here, but you had popped in. Justin Sokan has joined. That's my son. How are you? You have mom, dad, and son. How you doing, Justin? Justin's going good. What up, guys? Ask me any questions, guys. Anything you've been wanting to know, or just like anything about life, we can kind of discuss it. I'm always up for that on any of the streams. Feel free.
So I was gonna jump in
Sure.
with something a little different,
Cool.
but referring to planning and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, when I say I experiment a lot and I try different things, from intensive planning to doing the opposite, to trying to find the middle ground, I start to learn, like what works and what doesn't.
Okay.
So when I would plan, and I'm like, this is literally how my day is gonna go, right? Because, and I'm like in sync with it. I'm like, I feel good about this. And then someone throws it. It's usually like a social curveball. It's
Yeah.
never anything else.
Mine are
but
usually social
and I'm just like,
curveballs too.
but because the thing in my head is just like, I feel like I want to always say no, but then the other part of me is like, there's that I used to have that consistent conflict of saying yes and no, pretty much.
Okay.
And so that would kind of throw me off all the time. Or if I say like, oh, I'm gonna go home, if I know I'm gonna plan my day I'm gonna stay home, I'm gonna work on this shit, and then Justin's like, hey, can I come over?
And you're like, yes, Justin, mate, you can.
And I'll think about it, and most of the times I'll say yes, and like, I kind of just figure it out. But I started, I guess, straying away from intensive planning to, I feel like I know what I'm gonna get done this day intuitively, like, but having space and knowing that, accepting that things don't always turn out the way that it does, to learn how to be in the moment. And because I found that in those moments where I was conflicted, I just like, that's kind of where anxiety would stem from sometimes. And so since I wasn't a fan of that, I was like, I'll have my plans, and I'll always try to stay ahead of the curve and know what is really immediate and what's not. Because I think before I would also used to take everything like extremely serious, where it was like if I don't do this, like, you know what I mean, then it would just throw me off. But now it's not, I don't put as much weight on those things. I still take everything I do very seriously, but I think the biggest thing was that I think in my heart I knew that, because I think, so my truth today, I think everyone's truth never changes. I think it's always there, but it's about learning what it is and uncovering it. So my truth is, this is part of it. That's why I enjoy doing this a lot.
All
so
the screens.
being present, talking with people, learning, and then seeing if I could be of any use. I don't go around looking for a service. I study and give, right? So that's kind of like my thing, and I enjoy that. And so maybe I was conflicted before because that was something that I felt like was important, but I didn't know it at the time. Whereas today, because I'm living that, and when random shit comes up or whatever, like, I'm more in tune with it and I'm fine and it's good. I don't have the anxiety because I'm really in the space that I should be. So in this space, there is a level of planning, but it's not all planned because I've accepted that we know that life happens.
Of course.
And so the anxiety is like released. It's gone.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So that was just like my thought process with that. And I don't know if I could ever be that intense of a planner, because the other part of me is like, okay, so the thing with like, and I'm just sharing different sides, because
that's a mood. Honestly, that's a mood.
Most people I know aren't good planners. Let's just say that, right? There's a lot of improv going on, right? Or if they have a schedule, they stick to it. Cool.
Drink the water too.
So I'm operating from an intuitive place that creates the plans. So there's logic behind that, but I lead with intuition first, brain comes second. And with it working that way, it just feels better. And the limitation of that is that I can't look at a piece of paper and be like, this is the entire answer.
Oh yeah,
It's
no,
not.
of course, yeah.
There's so much stuff that's in the
Oh
dark.
yeah.
That it's kind of just like, oh, I trust what I have and it's gonna get me there. Like that's what it is more so than like knowing what all the details are.
Oh yeah.
The only time I really know what the details are is when I like create a strategy. And then it works 80% of the time, or like only 80% is relevant or something like that. So
I feel like I really resonate with what you've just said.
Okay.
I totally understand that. I feel like my way, okay, so like break down a couple things. So I feel like my way of planning, looking at things, it is, it's not as intuitive based if there are deadlines being thrown at me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because my intuition could tell me to not do something at a certain time, but then if I'm not meeting that criteria, then my intuition, regardless of what it tells me, is going to tell me, no, the paper is going to say that you're late. So that's just that. So just being an active student in college with 5 different classes, that's just like a little bit of a difference. Now, when it comes to socially, though, because I have like my academic schedule and everything kind of like that. But when it comes, like I said, we get derailed from conversations or whatever it is. If I'm going to an event, say, or I'm like, all right, I planned loosely, because I'm not like an itinerary like crazy person where I'm like, I'm hanging out from you from 3 to 6, so we're gonna do this every half an hour. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not that kind of person. If I loosely plan to see a couple people one day, I kind of just go with how the day goes. I have learned that a lot. a lot, because you're right, not a lot of people plan certain things. And I've learned to have to work with that, most definitely. And a lot of the time that derails me if somebody's not as, as much of a planner or whatever as me. I've gone on trips. I've gone to New Orleans. I've gone to Montreal. I've gone to, like Old Orchard in Maine. I've gone to a lot of places. Those are all actually just this summer. Super fun. But, the people on the trips, I'm a big planner, right? But I went with these people on these trips that were not the same as me. You know what I mean? I was like, I want to see this site this day and kind of hang out because I wanted to get the most of my experience. But some people just went and they were like, just going to walk around and see what we like. And part of me was like, I literally don't want to do that because I can't get much done. Yeah. But also, it was nice to not have to worry about that. We compromised. Some days we did something, some days we did the other things. What we did was we were like, we want to go 2 places today. And like, that's what we threw on the table. And we got there when we got there.
I see.
So that was enough for me, because it was like vacation-wise. That was enough for me to be okay with it. You know what I mean? So I'm not like a crazy itinerary lady, I promise. I the thing is though, is I'm planned like I am because I have to be. Yeah. In terms of, if I want to get the most out of my life every day and wake up and go to bed feeling like I did something for myself for the day or for other people for the day, I need to not just be like, yeah, like whenever. And I'm not saying that's not what you were saying beforehand at all. Very different. Intuition is obviously something you go with. But yeah, you know what I mean? Like if I'm taking a weekend off or something, I just like sit around and I'm like, yeah, whatever. And I hit up a friend and they're like, let's hang out. And the spontaneous ones are usually like the plans that you don't plan are the most fun sometimes. You know what I mean? Because they're cool and they come at you differently and they surprise you and then they open your eyes up to something different. But yeah, day to day I can't do that yet. I'm hoping that once I'm fully out of school I can, but that won't be for a little bit. And like we have work and other things too and activities and whatnot, but there is definitely a difference. And sometimes I would like to go with my intuition more than sometimes I have to. But I know you said before, people would hit you up and your first thought was to say no always, because you're like, don't mess up my juju. Like I have a plan for the day, like don't. My thing is I say yes to like basically everything. but not always. And I've learned that. Because sometimes I will say yes, and then no matter how I try to finesse working around it, it's not going to happen. And I think, and also if you're going about your life daily and it does come into your life and you're like, all right, cool, that happened, then that's cool too. Whether you said yes or no, whatever happens, it happens. But I think one of the biggest things I've learned, and I'm a big proponent of this, and the reason why I have certain leadership positions that allow me to be like to plan or whatever, or do anything, or I hang out with friends and see people, is because I communicate.
Yes.
Communication is key. And not because I'm an English major, not because I like writing. That's amazing, beautiful. But like person to person communication. And I'm not talking about like, like talking to me like, yeah, whatever. I'm talking about like eye contact, or if you have to do it via phone, doing it so you actually keep up with people. Because if you're busy and you have a whole day of things to do and you can't text somebody back right away, that's fine. I have learned that a lot too, because I email literally like every day, all day. Like that's one of my biggest things. And if you're in an email setting, and you're emailing your professor, say, you're not thinking of it as instant. So if they don't get back to you for like a day or so, you're like, yeah, cool, whatever. But if you send a text, you're like, when are they getting back to me? Like the second you send it. It just because constant like gratification.
Yes.
But also, it's kind of the same thing. That's why we don't text our professors, because they literally be inundated and not know how to deal with it. I've had people talk to me at leadership conferences before that were full-time faculty staff that have been working 30, 40 years, whatever, and they have students or other people to contact them in their office, and they have things on their email that respond to people saying, I'll get back to you when I get back to you, or whatever it is, because they didn't have that preset. They automatically feel like they had to respond, and then like people get disappointed when they don't automatically respond. But they're getting inundated with things, and they're one human being.
Yeah.
So that's a lot. I'm not a full-time staff person for anywhere yet, but I feel like it's coming, because that's kind of where I want to go into. We can talk about that later on too. But yeah, no, like I have to make sure that it's a balance, but it's just communication. And like not wasting people's time is a big one, because I hate when people don't communicate, and because of their lack of communication, you like inadvertently wasted both their and your time for the day. That sucks. You don't want your time wasted. And if it's something that's not that strict or whatever, yeah, okay, it's life, it happens, and you get going, so don't hold it over the person ever. But like the people that don't be a person that tries to make a plan and has a plan all set and ready to go, and then like 20 minutes before the plan is supposed to happen, you vanish. Don't do that.
It happens.
From me to you, don't do that. Try not to do that. And it happens because
Something
things come up and emergencies happen and life happens and stuff. But it's all about like, again, to the extent of when people can do it. Because again, if something does happen and you can't, if the person understands you and gets you and you explain it to them later on, cool. But if you're in a situation where it's not life or death and you can't actually physically respond to somebody, and it's in a point where they need you for that, don't blow them off. Or don't plan to meet with somebody somewhere, then not show up. And if you do, if it's not emergent, just don't be like, didn't feel like it. Like 10 minutes before you're supposed to hang out.
Yeah.
That kind of, it's just about being considerate of people's time. And I think communication is being considerate, because if you weren't considerate, you wouldn't bother to communicate with them. You know what I mean? That's how you also handle a lot of things too, is by puzzle piecing things together. And I guess that's maybe like how my brain works when it comes to that too. But you could want to get one thing done one day, and you want to see these people and do these things, and you can just kind of sit there and be like, I hope this happens, and I hope that maybe I talk to them today. Or you can just be like, I'm gonna shoot them 2 quick texts, and like those texts are gonna what makes or breaks my plans for the day.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel that.
You know what I mean?
Once in a while, I'm into that used to happen more so when I made plans more often. But sometimes it happens today. But so how I've adjusted to that, which I've talked about a few times throughout my internet career.
Hi, Paige's mom.
Paige's mom.
Yes.
Where?
Kelly Burkett is now watching. No, that's not Paige's mom. It's another Kelly. Hi. How are you? Oh, she's one of Michelle's friends. That's my friend too from high school.
There's a Kelly. I don't see a Kelly. Am I tripping?
I might see a Kelly.
Oh.
Oh.
I don't see it. Facebook, you suck. Alright, anyway. So, I agree on that. And I'm sure that's never gonna change with some people, or just it's never gonna not happen throughout your life. And when I made that,
hi Joanne.
When I accepted that, I love Joanne.
We love Joanne.
About myself, not myself, about life. I learned how to pivot to the B, right? So the plan B. So no expectations, and also having empathy for that, regardless of whatever the reason is, good or bad, stupid or not stupid.
Oh yeah.
Those two things combined were really taught me how to be patient, gave me more peace of mind, and taught me how to move fast and focus on like solution. So like just that final like social related thing when people just flake like that. I thought that said I love Kanye. Just for a second.
Joanne said I love Kara. I love you too, Joanne. And Planet Dance on Stedman Street. Go check them out. They are fantastic.
Yeah, she is.
Beautiful studio.
And they are.
Beautiful people.
Yeah, I think if I make plans of sorts, a part of me is always ready to pivot. It doesn't matter who it is.
Oh yeah. No,
So,
yeah. Most definitely.
And I think that has helped me a lot because I don't spend time on why or I'm just like, oh okay, like literally.
It's really like it's getting past it.
Yeah, like
because lingering sucks. Yeah. Lingering doesn't help you with anything.
Yeah.
If something didn't happen, you can sit there for even if it take 5-10 minutes to be like, really sucks that didn't work.
Yeah,
because
and you could be like, but I'm usually just like, no, it's cool, like it's all good, like.
Yeah, and then because it literally happened, like
yeah.
like lingering in the past is not something that is productive at all. If you're not living in the present, you're like not living. So if you're in the past and you're like, damn, last week my plan didn't work out with you, I'm gonna hold it over your head for the rest of your freaking life. That doesn't help anything. Or even you can take 5 minutes to collect yourself and be like,
yeah.
That didn't work.
Yeah.
Damn, that sucks.
You could do what you gotta do
because you have to do what you want to do. Yeah. But at the end of the day, you know, don't take that and ride with it and be like, this is the reason for this, and my whole day is ruined because you didn't do this or you didn't do that. Like, blaming people sucks. Like, I wouldn't want that to happen with myself because it's all about empathy and understanding people's situations also. So you can plan to your heart's content, but if it doesn't work out the way you want it to work out, don't get upset with the other person or yourself to an extent where you can't just move on from it and continue to live your life the way you're supposed to.
It took me a while.
Took me a while too.
Like unless you make an effort.
Oh yeah.
And make those decisions, it's because some people I feel like will remain salty their whole life.
Oh my god,
what I mean?
grudges are such a thing.
Like
it can be the stupidest thing people hold grudges for.
Yeah.
It's like, why do you do that? Why are you not moving on? And that's okay if that happens to you. If something really deeply upset you, or you're trying to it's a battle that you're dealing with yourself. That's totally okay to take the time and do that. But oh my gosh, if people just hold it, it's not good. I would say to not try to do that. Me saying to not try to do that's not going to maybe help people, but I would suggest trying to move on. So we are looking at a couple other streams. We've been saying hi to Facebook. So
yes.
Hello, Jeffrey.
No, he wasn't there.
I know.
He's not. Oh. Okay.
He's over there. But no, he's not here. But if he watches, hi.
Did you get your shirt back, Suling? I think I gave it to somebody. I don't remember to give it to you. But I hope you did. Because if not, I'm sorry.
If Mabel's still watching, hi girlfriend. You did such a good job. Mabel is on Proto Hype with me. And she's super, super cool. And super good. And wicked sweet. Yeah. I brought us some vegan snacks.
Yeah, I was so confused. I don't think I've ever eaten in my life. I was like, what is
They're
this?
dried apricots, and they're very good. You should try one.
I had 2.
You had 2? We should try one for the camera.
Oh, Faith. So here's a quick funny story about this girl, Faith.
Oh, cool. Hi,
We met
Faith.
on Facebook.
I love meeting people on Facebook.
Years back, on a video from someone that I looked up to a lot, commented. And she I don't know who added who, but we added each other and started talking. And we're not like consistently friends or anything, but like I see her pop in once in a while.
That's dope.
I think she got married.
Did you get married, Faith?
Blew my mind. I was like, whoa.
I like how you're saying, I think, when she's right. Faith, if you're married, let us know.
because her last name definitely used to not be Cumming.
Wow.
Yeah, so
She's married.
pretty sure she got married.
That's cool, Faith. Good for you. I love marriage.
Don't let that shit go.
Yes, Joanne, let that shit go.
That's been a theme too. People learning how to let stuff go.
Oh, yeah.
Nini was talking about that when she was here.
Mm-hmm.
Monica was talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
Forgot who else. Someone else talked about that too.
I agree.
Lucy talked about that. Because it's just important.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna jump to, because I feel like there's like two categories. One is like, no, let's go with like the like ambitions. So you can talk about all that area, things you want to do, things you're doing, what you're trying to do, like goals, long term, all that stuff. Right? Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
So we're gonna go with that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, kids, buckle up. So, I currently, like I said, am a substitute teacher for Lowell Public Schools, and one of my biggest passions, if you read the little blurb, I don't know if you get it. If not, that's fine. But what I'm training to do now, and by training, I mean getting school for and kind of putting myself out there and being in the community, is I'm from Lowell, Massachusetts, born and raised, and I was somebody that was lucky enough as a student growing up in the K through 12 public school system here to have gotten the help and the guidance from different people and different programs like Gear Up Massachusetts, Gear Up True and Upward Bound, which are college readiness programs, as well as just being in show choir at Lowell High School, show choir, singing and dancing. That's where I got my start and my love for dancing. I've been singing my whole life, but all those as outlets and having good people and teachers and things to fall back on. So having all that as my experience growing up for, I'm 21, almost 22 in April, 21 and a half, we'll say. Growing up, I saw that, and I like coming back from that now and going back and seeing kids that are still like 12, 13, 14, up to 18, 19, and I say kids, and like obviously I'm almost 22, but I don't feel like I'm a full-blown adult in any realm yet. We're all working on it and growing on it. But people that are not so sure of themselves yet, like teens, seeing them, you really appreciate them, and it's like taking a step back and realizing that you are very, very, very close to walking in their shoes, like just from a couple years back, 2, 3, 4 years back, which a lot can happen then, but also that's not a lot of time.
Yeah.
It's like paradoxical, but it's both. You can grow a lot, and also that really was not that far back when you come to think of it. So all of that has put me into the realm of public education. Being able to, so I interned under a student internship at Teen Block through Lowell Community Health Center. They put on Dance for Peace, which is a nonprofit like violence prevention show that happens. It's been happening for like over like 22, 23, 24 years. One of them. It's a long time now, since the early 90s. Super cool in the community. And if you haven't been to Teen Block in the health center, I totally would suggest you going there, no matter what age you are, just to kind of seeing them. But if you're around the Lowell area, you can sign up as long as a parent signs your slip and go and hang out with them. They're super cool. But they do youth mentorship and tutoring and just kind of like being there to talk to people, to talk to whoever's there, whatever kid or teen needs help, whether it's educational or like for school-based or not, or just like with life. And seeing that and understanding that we are not too far back in their shoes, and understanding that at that age in life, it's such a pivotal and important like growth progression time. Seeing all that, and we take a step back, and I was like, well, I really appreciated and was super grateful for the programs, people that helped me, that I still call my mentors, and people today that I look up to, that I wouldn't be here, literally sitting right here where I am like today if it wasn't for them. And I was like, I want to become that. Because I feel that having even like an ounce of like guidance or mentorship might, in the scheme of things, might not seem like a big deal, but even subconsciously having somebody there as an entity can still help somebody. So that's kind of what I want to be. So like I'll talk about dance in a little bit, but just different from dance, I want to be just like a youth community worker in the city of Lowell. youth community worker, whether it be for a local nonprofit. That's kind of what I'm shooting for. But just someone there to help. I'm big into sex education as well because I feel like we don't have enough of that. True. And adults think it's awkward to talk about and taboo, and our society has a very abstinence-based system, and that's been going on since the 80s and Reagan and that kind of thing. And it's not kind of about, like, it comes to sex, it's literally like how to educate about how to not have sex, because that's the only thing that's going to help. But no one ever talks about what happens when you do have sex and what you can do to prevent that. And like, sorry to say, even if you're an adult or not, if you're in the age range of teen, like, you know, preteen, upper teen, getting into 18, 19, that's a conversation that's being had by a lot of kids and by a lot of students and teachers and parents and people. And if only abstinence-based teaching is what's going to happen, people aren't just abstaining from having sex or anything. And STIs and STDs can affect anybody at any time, whether you think it would or not. So that's, like, sex education is a big thing for me too, because I personally don't think it's an awkward subject because it happens in daily life. And if it happens in day-to-day life and it's something that people need to know about and need to get educated about, I don't think that it should be something that other adults, if you consider me an adult, other adults and people should be scared to educate young people on. Because, like, parents don't talk to their kids about that a lot of the time.
Not really.
No. Like, I don't think I personally ever got, like, the sex talk or anything like that. You know, I don't know if you had or not. But regardless, though, like, you hear hearsay and you're a kid and you're in school and you're hearing things from other people and your friends and, like, what, and there's a lot going on. And all the education you're getting currently, a lot of the time, like, is just to not have it. And then you hear all this other stuff. Whenever anybody, at least in my age range, again, I'm almost 22, anybody talks to me about what their, like, education sexually was like, or, like, it was like, oh, like, how was it talking about that in high school?
She does.
Yes, Joanne, I know you talk about it.
Boss.
Good. Like, you know, I'm like, oh, did you, like, what was your experience, like, in high school or whatever? Somebody's like, yeah, my gym teacher tried to talk to me about something. He said, like, this goes into this and to not do it. Or, you know what I mean? That's, like, stupid. Or they're like, oh, it was an awful, awkward, horrible experience, and my math teacher ended up teaching me about it because no one else could, and whatever. Or people, there's, like, kids laugh the whole time and they didn't really learn anything. So it's like, okay, so you're missing the mark on all of that.
Yo, I'd be the best sex ed teacher.
Isn't it? Yeah.
I think so.
Honestly, yeah.
I just don't know anything.
Yeah, we can educate. There's workshops on that. We can do them together. Vatan and I will sign up to be sexual educators together. Yeah, so that kind of education is super cool too. So through the health center, you can do something in terms of that, or like family planning, or helping in terms of like teen pregnancy, or just again helping teens to kind of grow more into themselves. So career-wise, that's what I realized I wanted to do, because from the time I was much younger, like in like upper middle school, 7th, 8th grade, I was like, I want to be a teacher. And I was like, I want to be a teacher, but I was like, okay, I don't know what kind of teacher I want to be necessarily. But when I was there, I was told by people, oh, hey, you know what? You'd be a cool, like, elementary school teacher. And I was thinking, yeah, little kids, like, it'd be totally fun to do that. And like I do like kids that age, most definitely. And then I was thinking about it, and it's just like a huge process when it came to it. Now, like 4 or 5 years later, knowing exactly what I want it to be. But I started off thinking, yeah, elementary ed. I didn't want to teach a specific subject. I just kind of wanted to teach, because people told me that I was good at it. But not only because people told me I was good at it, I was, you know, like, okay, like, you know, I'm good at articulating, I like communicating, I like making it so people can understand things and breaking it down for them, and I really enjoyed that, you know, in school and regardless otherwise. So I was thinking about it in those terms, and I went to school not for elementary ed, but for English. And, you know, if you asked me 5 years ago if I was going to be an English major, I would have been like, no, why the heck would I do that? I don't like that whole realm. I was like, I don't write like that or whatever. But then I got into that major, and it completely changed my perspective on everything. Well, thank you, Joanne. You're a great role model too.
She is.
Much love. So then as time went on, I was still kind of unsure about what I was interested in doing when it came to teaching.
Okay.
I was like, do I want to teach little kids? And I do like younger kids, but I was like, I don't know. And so I was like about halfway through my sophomore year, so I'd say maybe like a couple years ago, year and a half ago, I like really came to terms with it because, you know, you're starting to get up higher in the undergrad and things are starting to get way less specific.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to have to pick something or just, you know, like kind of have a, you know, intuition about what I want to do. And then I like took a step back and I actually had a professor, a sociology professor, Charlotte Ryan. She's a wonderful human being. She's like a big anthropologist and advocate, and she's just fantastic. She helps people all around the world, and she's an environmentalist. She's dope. So I had her, and she had, for introduction to sociology, this is why I'm also a sociology minor, because I just loved it so much, but she made us write down, she was like, all right, so guys, the whole semester is going to be based on what you want to do. And I was like, oh, great, I have no idea what I want to do. Perfect. Great. Beautiful. Okay.
Nice.
So, yeah, and I was like, all right, cool. And she's like, so, like, write down, like, we're going to write down steps, and you're going to interview people that are in your field that you want to do, whatever. I'm going to do all that. And I was like, I don't know what I want to do, apparently, because the idea of teaching elementary education started to stray more and more in my head. I wasn't getting as excited about it anymore. And being intuitive about that, I guess, back then, I was like, I don't know. You know what I mean? And just being like, I don't know, like, was enough for me to be like, all right, I have to rethink something. I was like, okay, never mind. So we're going to go back to the drawing board. But I knew I still wanted to be in education. Okay. And I've been a big person in the little, like, community when it comes to helping out and volunteering and just being a part of it again, like I said, from when I was younger until now. So I had volunteered a lot, and I had been out and about and had talked with people and had mentors in the community and everything. And so she asked me, and she was like, so what do you like to do? And like her and I personally, not just like writing down, like we actually had a conversation about, because I left class that day and I was like, I am confused and I don't know what to do. She's like, that's cool. So what do you like to do? And I was like, well, I like volunteering and I like being a part of my community. And I also like teaching, but I don't know if I want to be like an elementary education teacher. And she goes, oh, that's simple. She goes, why don't you just work with kids in the community? And I was like, wow, I guess it really was that simple. Okay. And I was like, it took me a while to break that down, but then that kind of got me off starting on that. And then I realized that my whole journey made me like where I am today. Like, I now consider myself a non-traditional educator.
I see. Dope.
Because non-traditional, and the fact is I'm not like thinking, like, whenever I tell people I'm an English major, they're like, okay, so you're going to teach English, like high school English in a classroom? And I'm like, nah, that's not what I want to do at all. Okay. I'm not a whole, like, I've been blessed to be able to have classrooms and stuff that are kind of like, okay, roundabout, like everybody sits in a circle or whatever, and it's not just kind of like teacher students, because I don't want like to bark at people, and I feel like kids either get things barked at them or just thrown at them and they're like, what? And it hits them and just leaves their head. Nothing sinks into them. And even like, I've studied a lot on like kind of classrooms and kind of like how those kind of things work and just like demographics and just kind of how you have them positioned. And you can't see the other students in the class that they're sitting in front of behind you. You can't make eye contact. You can't really communicate with them. You know what I mean? And a teacher can't be everywhere in the room. So if they're just strictly up front, they can't get to who they need to get to fully, at least even communication wise. So just the open communication aspect of that is cool. So non-traditional, just very basic in the fact that like I don't want to be like here and here. That's not what my prerogative is when it comes to that. So I was like, all right, I cannot picture myself teaching like Shakespeare to high school students. That's not what I want to do at all. And I was like, all right, cool. And then I guess like it kind of grew on me more, the idea of being like more non-traditional. And then so last year, my junior year of undergrad, second semester, had the internship at Teen Block. And they're like youth violence prevention coordinators over there, which is super cool. And they're sex educators, and they do a lot of stuff over there too. And I was like, all right, I'm going to go in here, see if it's something that I'm interested in see if it's something that I like and that I'd like to continue, like pursuing and doing. And not just them in general. And I'm sure this is like for a lot of places, but just that environment was so cool. Like just like so open, so cool, like beanbag chairs. The kids had like art and they had music and they had like things to play and ways to express themselves, and it was all very open. And there were like offices and stuff, but it wasn't so like strict and hardcore, and they were very open and friendly with the people that they were talking with, and I don't think they felt intimidated or scared or anything like that. And that was just really, really cool to see. And I was able to be with them I was there from like February to the end of last May, so this past May, so it was like the semester, but then I stayed with them just the whole summer because I was just there and I was having like a ball of a time. Like I loved it. And coming out of that, I was like, wow, this is like the best environment ever. I was like, I want to do that. I want to be there because you not only form relationships with those students and those people. Well, actually, that's a good way to think of it. Because, like, the students, because they come from different schools, but they're just people like you and I are. So to not be in a position where you're lording anything over their heads or being like, I'm better than you, or, you know, I'm older than you, so I know more than you. Like, that's bullshit. Because you teach each other. That's not how, you know what I mean? Like, you can learn a lot from both sides. As soon as you think you're done learning, like, you're just done. Because if you don't want to progress on and learn more and more, then... like, forget about it. Like, you don't, that's not a mentality I feel like people should have. You're always a learner. Every day you're learning something new. If you don't think you are, well, you are surprised. Whether you acknowledge it or not. But yeah, so just seeing that, and I formed strong bonds with those people too. And like with the people that worked there, but also like the other teens that were there. You know, they come to you, they talk to you, they know you by name, they ask you for academic questions, but also they ask you about life things and just want to hang out with you and, you know, like, play freaking cornhole and, you know, like jam on the guitar and have a good safe outlet for them. And that just, to be able to one day be a provider for that would be so cool for me. To give teens a creative space that they feel safe in and that they feel encouraged in, because that's what I feel like I had growing up. And I feel like I'm a person today because of that. So I wouldn't want like anything more. So that just really solidified it for me. And I was like, I like education. I'm not a typical educator. So I was just told, I wasn't told, like I like figured out. And by other people that I've had, other really good professors, I was like, all right, so yeah, non-traditional education. And that leads me to dance. Okay. So I've been dancing now for almost 8 years. I would consider myself almost dancing. I've sang my whole life, but dance I started back in show choir in high school. A little bee-boo-bop on stage. We were in show choir, not together though, but shameless plug for the Lowell High Sound Impressions show choir and the Lowell High Choral Arts program. Beautiful, wonderful, super cool. Batana, when did you graduate?
2011.
He graduated the year I came into school. Okay. To high school. Yeah. 2011, September in 2011 was when I was a freshman in high school, which literally is a long time ago. Yeah. I just missed you. Wicked funny. That's so funny. So my passion for dance started there, and then I came to UMass Lowell. This is a very sped up version of this, but I came to UMass Lowell, and I was like, I love dancing, I love singing, but like collegiate show choir is not a thing. It is sometimes, but not like all the time. And I was like, you know what? I want to still do both. So I found myself an a cappella group to join. That's, you know, it was all female. I auditioned and gone to that one, and I really like resonated well with it. So I'm still able to sing, and I still sing with them today. We've recorded stuff. We're recording more, hopefully. And we have an EP out, Heartbreaker, on Spotify, Apple Music, and iTunes, and all that kind of fun stuff. Go check it out. UMass Lowell, from out of nowhere, Heartbreaker. Recorded that my sophomore year. That was a while ago, actually. Still relevant though, still cool songs. And then I found Prototype. Prototype at the time, we're gonna have a little history lesson. Prototype at the time was Urban Choreography Club. And we're run under club sports at UMass. So the fact that even just like my like dance crew was considered a sport was super cool, because the arts and sports had always had such a bashing in like public high school, and like, you know what I mean? Like it was always just like you're a sports kid, you're an arts kid, and that happens a lot of places. But at UMass, they're like, no, it's a club sport to dance. And I was like, you bet your butt it is, because it's very hard to do that. Hello, my friends, Madeline and Amy. So I was like, all right, what can I do? And I joined the club, and it was completely different style. Like show choir is theatrical when you're on stage and you're singing, and urban is not like that. Urban encompasses, it's like an umbrella term again, and urban has many different styles. We have hip hop in urban. People confuse hip hop and urban a lot. they think that urban is just like urban is hip hop and vice versa, but like hip hop is a style within urban. Yeah, it's not, you know what I mean? And obviously we know this, we're dance teachers. And you have like whacking and popping and locking and voguing and housing and all those kind of cool things all under the urban umbrella. So this is what this club did. And I came on as a freshman and I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing, but this seems like a cool vibe, so we'll stick with it. And I just grew more and more, and then every summer with Vitana, actually, it's been now quite a few summers, but the Lowell dance community, my favorite, bless, is super, super strong because we have a lot of really cool people that have a lot of passion and a lot of drive. Hi, Andy. Mwah. Andy runs Mill Advised Dance Crew out of Lowell, Massachusetts, that actually practices at Planet Dance Studios. Hi, Joanne. And I've been on Mill Advised before too. So the Lowell dance community is big, and I was doing that at UMass and also in the summers, and just every summer we've kept growing and growing. I've danced with Mill Advised Dance Crew. We did collectives like the Neighborhood and like other things. I've danced with Strive for Change. Now we've been Intermission this past summer, which was super cool. And just like doing both of those, it's just been such a growing experience, and I've just fallen more and more in love with not only like urban dance as a style, but other styles of dance, and also just the community in general is you can't find it anywhere else. You probably can, but for the relative distance, like I think the Lowell dance community is something very special about it. And I'm extremely biased, but from my perspective, because I've been in other communities too, you know what I mean? It's super special. So that just clung on to me. And you're welcome for the shout out, Andy. I love you. That's my father. Okay. That's my dad. That's my family. Yeah, so then after a while, I was at this, so Strive for Change, if you didn't know about Mr. Vitana Thatch himself, puts on a convention called Eat, Sleep, Dance, Repeat. And it was in its 4th season this year, and it was my 3rd time ever going, which is super cool. And just like being there, we had different people from the community come and talk, and we had industry people come in and speak as well that had owned studios and done those kind of things. And I had seen my friends in this community a lot of the time teach at studios, and they teach hip hop to like all age ranges. They'll do break dancing or like other kinds of things. And I was like, all right, cool, non-traditional education, so I can take that, whether it be sex ed or youth mentorship and like leadership. And I was like, also in dance. So I really like came up this past summer with a goal set for me from when I'm done undergrad to just kind of put myself out there, and I really want to try to studio teach. Like I really do. I think it'd be super cool. You get to meet a lot of people and a lot of kids, and that are passionate, and you get to like, because the studio is your classroom. Maybe you don't think of it as a classroom, but it is fully a classroom. And there's a lot of things that go into that, as Joanne, if she is still watching, and a lot of people know, and Vitana himself as a dance teacher knows. And hi, Cullen. Cullen helped create Urban Choreography Club, which is now Proto Hype. God bless. My fave. Saw him last night. So, yeah. So you just have that atmosphere, which is completely different. And then going back now, I was on executive board, we call it, for UCC, as we used to call it, Urban Choreography Club. Now that's Proto Hype. And I was doing logistics, and again, we talked about planning earlier on, like all that kind of things, like booking for gigs and booking for where we are and what we do and all that kind of stuff. And I was doing that for, almost 3 years. And then finally this last year that I'm in my undergrad, I got voted to be captain of the team. And that has just been like, it's been about, so it's technically been like 2.5 months since like the school year started, but like as soon as I was like thought of as in a captain position, I had that mindset. And that was in like April of this past year, because I planned the whole summer too. So for this current year, which is super important to me. But yeah, you just learn a lot, because not only that's gotten me to choreograph a lot more. I choreograph for my crew, and I've taught workshops and stuff for UMass, and for Proto Hype, I've taught workshops in general. But you're teaching basically every time you're there, because you have to like make sure people are in their places and understand and work with your other artistic directors. Shout out to Henry and Ellis, my 2 ADs. They really help the crew a lot, and to just our choreographers, everybody, and the team themselves. Everybody's super, super cool and we work together. But that's a learning experience every time you go into there. We have practice 3 hours a night, Tuesdays and Thursdays, like from 7:30 to 10:30. And those 3 hours, I'm literally in teaching mode. Because I'm not there to like bark at people or do anything like that. But you have a collective of like 16 people that are trying to dance. And everybody has different needs. And everybody has different things they need to get done. And some people are not as caught up or vice versa. And you have to know how to work with that. And I guess it's more about like, I can go in and plan, like I go in and plan for my team.
Of course.
You know what I mean? And go, we're tacking these things off tonight. But sometimes we go over if we're, you know what I mean? If we're doing something else. And it's all relative to just what kind of experience you want them to have. So I have to walk in thinking of them as people. And I do a big thing now. I took it from Team Block because I was totally inspired by it. But mood check, I do that every single practice now. Mood check every single time. They can tell you. My team can tell you. It's super important because people walk into atmospheres, and in high school, so it's very different actually. In high school, I was told like when we walked into show choir, it's a lot of kids, a lot of drama, a lot of petty things. It's high school, right? Like you have to kind of work past that. But always like leave your bags at the door. That's not an actual thing. Like in theory it is. Because you can just walk into somewhere and have had a super shitty day or have something really like happen to you that affects you, and like you can like go from like this to this and like come and practice and be like, haha, I'm happy, nothing happened to me, but you're not there the whole time. That's not what I need. And that's not what people that I'm working with need either. So what they did at Team Block that I took also was just mood check is literally we do warm up, we do stretch and everything. And Team Block did this differently. They weren't in a dance kind of setting, but I take my team and we circle up really quick and we take 5 minutes and we go around and we say how we feel on a scale of 1 to 10. And then I'll give them like, some days I'll just tell them to give me a word about how they feel, but other days I'll be like, what color are you feeling like today? What food are you feeling like today? Make a noise to tell me how you feel today. I just kind of like come up with whatever. It's a way to express themselves, but they give it a numeric scale because even though you can't really relatively put emotion to numerals, it helps for them. You know what I mean? Somebody's like, I'm a 9 today. We give it like a little round of applause and we're like, yeah, that's dope. You're having an awesome day. And if they're like, I feel like a 2.5, my word today is ass. I feel awful. And we acknowledge that also. You know?
I think this is dead.
Oh, she died.
Which is
Okay.
fine.
Okay. So, because that's a whole thing. But oh, beautiful, cool. She was just doing her thing. Oh, don't catapult her. Okay. Beautiful. Yeah. So even if like I can't sit there and individually talk to people about what kind of day they had, sometimes after mood check, what I do is I have people just pair up and we take like 2 minutes and everybody just kind of shares like we call it I call it like a rose and a thorn. So they start with like their thorn and end on the rose. So like to start off with the bad and end with the good. And they'll be like, today my thorn was I fell down the stairs, but you know what? My rose was I got a 95 on my exam. You know what I mean? And then they kind of they share with each other something. And subconsciously or not, again, because a lot of it is subconscious, because you could think, okay, taking 10 minutes to give you a number about how I feel and then like making me talk about it is not going to do anything. It kind of does. Because we've not only not checked our bags at the door, we've taken the bags inside the door, unboxed them, and acknowledged everything. And then even if you're still feeling like shit, you know that 15 other people care about how you feel. And you can work based off of that the rest of your practice. And then you're determined to do. And that's what they're doing at Team Block, and that's what I took from that, like amongst like other exercises that I've come up with myself. But that's super important. And I would do that in my classrooms too. Again, age ranges, I'm working with 18 to like 24-year-olds, but I am teaching those kind of age ranges too. But I like working with younger kids too, and doing middle school, super fun. But shameless plug. Gonna try to teach at studios coming in the next few months. Joanne, you're playing a dance. If you're still here, I love your space. And if you're ever looking for a sub or for a hip hop teacher, come like May or so, I would love to come in and try to do something. I'm making a dance resume and all that kind of fun stuff too. But yeah, being captain has really opened my eyes to both leadership and planning, but also knowing when things go wrong and knowing how to deal with it and understanding people's emotions. And yeah, because at the end of the day, if you're learning something from somebody, and if you're also trying to share your knowledge with them, you're an educator. regardless of what you could be in your house, you could be on the beach, you could be in a studio, you could be in a classroom, doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It's all about that exchange of knowledge. It doesn't really matter where you are and if it's a strict setting or not. So yeah, so just doing that. So I wanted to become kind of a dance teacher in that aspect, and really wanting to share that and having like students to do that with. And then also just wanting to help my own community out and the kids smart, because our kids in our community are so freaking smart. Look at both of us.
I mean, we are from this community.
Yeah, we are from this community.
It's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it.
It's mind-blowing. Oh my God. So I was literally thinking yesterday, so we had a beautiful Friendsgiving at Jeff Jean-Philippe's house. Shout out to Jeff. Love you. Expressive movement. The best. So we were there. We were on his porch, and it was myself and Vitana and our health coach, Angel Escalera, who's super awesome. Pure Movement. PM fam, we got you. And Bridget and Natasha. And Jamie Rodriguez. So Bridget, Lanaine, Natasha Ayala, and Jamie Rodriguez. And it was weird. All of us. It was so weird. It was weird
when someone said, I was like, oh,
that was me. I said it. I said it. Yeah. We were there. We were all sitting there, and it was just random. Again, like we were just like all there at that same moment in time, like in the room. And I looked around the room, and I was like, we all went to Lowell High School together, and we're literally all from Lowell. And I was like, what is going on in here? Because it's just crazy, like the amount that's come. I'm not like hyping myself or Vitana up, even though like I am, but like in actuality, the amount of like the age range of like I would say my age range to like yours, like 25, 26, that like 4 or 5 year span, so many people have done so many cool things I've literally physically known. We have us, and we have beautiful dancers and teachers like Nini and like Jamie, and then we have Angel, who's doing Pure Movement, and he's our health coach now, and he's super, super cool, and doing all that kind of stuff, and he's really successful, which I think is awesome. We all think it's awesome. And we just have, and Bridget works in IT, and she has a super cool full-time job, and she loves it where she is, and that's awesome. And she just came out of undergrad herself. And then you think of people like our homegirl Lynn Gunn, Lindsay Gunnolfson from Paris, on tour the whole world. She started in Lowell, Mass. Lindsay lives down the street from me, but my whole life, and I didn't realize that. But I love Parrot, literally my favorite band, not just because they're hometown, but like just I love their music, and Lindsay, and
and there's Michelle, and there's Elmer.
I know, Michelle and Elmer.
What's her face? And she's fresh in my head. Delane.
And Delane, like, oh my God, yeah. And
like everyone's fucking cool.
Everybody's just killing the game. And my friend, you remember Chris Dobbins?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's a beast too.
He's a beast. He's literally started the Boston Strong movement. And Elmer's doing lights, and Michelle's becoming a physical therapist, and
Princess's goals.
Princess Chan, we love you, and your baby Ezra, and your husband, and everybody, like literally so cool. Like
we have a lot of strong people in the community.
A lot of really strong
Jasper's
people.
Killing it.
Jasper and Kevin Van, my faves, doing their thing out there. And then we have super strong people that have come from the community also that kind of join us. Like we have we have the Drakettes, like in Tewksbury's, and everybody. That kind of resonate with Lowell. I mean, you can obviously correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like Justin and Casey, Justin's a super talented dancer and teacher, and you're killing the game, Justin. We love you. And Casey's out there in Boston doing her own thing, and she's so cool with her singing and what she does, and her her brand and everything. And the people that we have come in, and Jeff is I think from around here as well, but they center Lowell, Tewksbury, but just
weird. From Canada comes all the way down.
Like time is relative. I keep telling people this. And it's a funny story. So I keep telling people this, and I was in my education class that I have, and I was in it. I was in my education class like this past week, and we did like our assignment was to like it was like educational hero. So I had to interview somebody that was my educational hero, and we I did the interview, like typed out the interview, and did everything, and then we had to talk about it and share about it in class and everything. And so I interviewed Tiffany Curry, who's amazing. She ran the year program at Lowell High School with her husband Wayne Curry and other people, Colleen Wynn, Jeanette Racine for many years, and she was with me from middle school to high school, and now she works in Revere. or if you're doing the same kind of like college readiness and prep, and she's one of my biggest mentors. And, you know, I wouldn't be sitting here where I was today without her. And I was thinking about that and just how important time and people and experiences are. Mm-hmm. And so one of the other students in my class ended up sharing something about one of his teachers, and he was saying, oh, you know, he had an IEP, so he had a special kind of learning, you know, curve in, you know, middle and elementary school and like going into high school. And she was kind of like a mentor tutor, and she was there, and he went to a school in Cambridge, Massachusetts. And, you know, she was there and she helped him, you know, like she was one of his biggest mentors and educators that he looked up to. Like he was like ready to cry because they're just so impactful and powerful people. And he was like, she didn't start off in education, and she literally went and she taught in like Zimbabwe and Australia and Tokyo and all these places. And then in Tokyo, she wanted to become a teacher. And then she found Cambridge, and then she became the person in Cambridge. And now she's the head of the department in Cambridge, and she was my mentor. And then we were all in a circle, and I was there, and my teacher wanted us, after everybody went, to share something they just thought of what the person's presentation was. And I was just there, and I was just like, I really resonate with what you just said. His name is Brett. Brett, you're awesome. I love you. I was like, I really resonate with what you just said. And also, I was like, how weird is that she was there for you in your life at that exact moment in time, and out of all the places she could have been, it was in Cambridge with you, like right there. And I just said that, and like I was just like, whatever. My teacher goes, wow, you're getting very philosophical on us. She's like, thank you for that, Kara. And I was like, sorry, but it's true. Yeah. And I was just thinking that. And I was like, how weird is it that literally all these people that we know, regardless of whether it was on the porch last night at Friendsgiving, and I was like, holy shit, we're literally all from the same place, and we're all here now, just to like who we know in our daily lives. It's like, just the universe has a plan for you. And that's what I always have to keep, because when going back to plans, when things mess up and things don't go how you want them to, take a step back and realize that it happened for a reason. The universe is guiding you for it, and to trust the process and to trust the universe when it comes to it, because I'm sitting here with you right now because of all these things that led up to that.
Happened,
yeah. You know, 6-7 years ago, I didn't really know who you were.
You weren't on my radar until... No. I think I've started to hear about you through Elmer.
Yeah.
But I think maybe I don't know how many years after I knew him. I want to say at least 2.
At least 2, because in high school I knew who you were, but I knew of you, and I knew of what was it, the movement? Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. TBT. Yeah. And I knew of the movement and all that, but I thought of you as just like another one of the dance like out there. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like I thought of you just like another like Lowell dancer, because I knew that was happening in our community. But I was like, you know, I was like a little pipsqueak in high school, and I was just doing show choir, just breaking into that. And I saw Elmer b-boying and all that kind of stuff too. And he was friendly with you guys, and he had danced with you guys before. But it was like you and like, you and Billy and Cullen and Chris and like all these people that I had seen and just like knew of as existences in the realm of Lowell, but I wasn't really friendly with you fully on until then. But it was just literally crazy. And I think last night was literally the perfect example of that. Of like, I think about it all the time, about like how many people that we know that are our friends that are off doing such amazing things that all root back to the same place. We all grew up with different lifestyles, knowing different people, completely different families, completely different backgrounds and ethnicities. Everybody has their own path. And like we all were like, it's just so weird. It's so philosophical. It's just so weird that literally on, what the hell day is it? It is December. Wow, I'm having a panic attack. It is November. What, November, what is it? 17th day? 18th? What day is it? 18th, beautiful. On November 17th at like 1 a.m. in Jeff Jean-Philippe's porch in Nashua, New Hampshire. Spoiler alert. We were all there sitting at a table eating fruits, vegan, and hanging out and listening to music and jamming and vibing. I was thinking of that yesterday. I was on the couch with Bridget. Hi, girlfriend. And I was sitting there, and there was a card game going on. You were talking with Angel on the stairs. Very intensely, which was wonderful. And I was sitting on the couch with her, and it was like 5 a.m. at this point. Guys, I didn't go to bed till 6:30. Yeah. We vibe hard when we vibe. which is super fun. And I was there though, and I was just sitting there. It was really only two on the couch, and like everybody was kind of like off doing their own thing for the day. And I was like, I was looking at all the rooms and what was going on and observing around me, and I was like, all of these people, because we had Expressive Movement and we had, Televised, and we had just like Lowell community like dancers and Proto Hype and other people there, and Teen Block and Adam Project and all these awesome cool dancers, and all of these people, I was looking around and I was like, Bridget, I was like, no, isn't it weird to think that literally without dance none of these people would have known each other?
Yep. Dance being like the thing. Like
I was like, what? And she was like, and Bridget, you are a dancer. Even if you don't believe you are, you can do a nice one of these. I taught you how to do the shoot. You can shoot pretty well, I promise.
Dance, man.
You know how to dance, yes.
I love like certain stuff.
Tony's dancing.
Because the dance, bro.
He's a dance, bro. Everybody's a dancer. If you have rhythm and you can move, you're a dancer. I know you might argue me on that, but we have our own ideas on that. But in general, though, I was like, damn. Everybody in this house is here because of dance. Yeah. Again, and the thing is, though, is we say small world, and this happens to me all the time. Yes, I am pretty local to Lowell, and I'm pretty local to the surrounding areas and people, but I've also been out other places, and I've been, to like the Midwest when I went to camp and stuff or that kind of thing for a show choir, and the whole East Coast kind of knows people. Like, I mean, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, like New York, we're all kind of, kind of like dance community when it comes to that. And it just gets crazy because like I have these small world things happen to me all the time. Like last night there was a kid named Khalid that was there. Yep. And he was in David Prouty's show choir. And I knew him in high school. And he was my year, graduated 2015. And I hadn't seen this person in like 4 years. And he just comes in here walking into Jeff's house. And Khalid.
The little black kid with the hair.
He was a dope ass dancer. You're so good.
Oh.
And he literally did show choir with me. And I remember him like vivid. I don't forget a face. That's one thing about me. I literally am very good with faces and names. Another quality of being a teacher.
Have to pee.
Go pee-pee.
Okay,
I'll keep talking.
Oh.
Hi guys, this is the ghost of my father, Brianna Badger. We're going to be talking today. Hi guys, this is Brianna Badger. We're going to be talking today just like this. I'll hold my dad.
Did you read my comment?
No, I haven't read your comment.
I was like, just saying.
I'm talking to the ghost of Carla Franco on the couch. So I was just thinking about it. I was like, holy crap, I haven't seen this person in 4 years. And the second I saw him, I remembered his face. Because again, I do not forget a face. That's one thing about me. People
look familiar to me.
Yeah, he looked familiar, right? People don't forget my face, which I find very interesting. People will literally always recognize me from places or just be like, I know you. And I'm like, I don't know who you are. Or I don't know. But I think it's super cool. But I just don't forget a face. And I saw him and I was like, what had to have conspired in this universe for me to have literally seen this person that I did show choir with in the same circle? We didn't go to high school together. He's from like Western Mass, or like Southern Mass or whatever. Very weird. I was like, this is you for now. He's back. Look at that. Two souls joining in harmony. I know, Andy. Andy says, wow, that really puts things into perspective. Dance brought some people together. You are so right. Andy Jax, I would have never known this incredible human being without dance, and it's because he went to UMass Lowell after going to, I believe, Northern Essex, right? I never met you and Ashley, and now you literally run one of Lowell's most cool dance teams. Carla's having a philosophical brain fart on the couch and her mind is exploding. But mine is too, the more I talk about it. Just about how cool everything is. And I think about where I am today and just the connections that you meet and the people that you meet. And again, I would not be in the space that I am without meeting everybody and having the universe conspire the way it did. And then when things get really, really shitty and things throw you off and things happen and you really just kind of go back to trust the process, it is that. Because I was reading something somewhere or whatever, but just even if you're having the shittiest day or if things are not going the way you think they're going to go, they will clear up for you. And everything that happens to you is meant to happen, I believe personally, for a reason, to guide you in the way that you're supposed to be going. really cool. So I am now a car owner, guys. I got my first car.
Oh, shit.
And watch out, kids. She's driving on the road.
I'm gonna be picking you up, honestly.
I know. I'm now Carla's personal Uber. Vitana has been my personal Lyft driver for the last... He does Grubhub. He does Lyft. He does Uber Eats. He does all of the things. Super cool. But yeah, I just got my license a couple of months ago because hashtag public transportation has been my base since day one. But now I can actually drive myself, which is super duper cool because I am an adult on the cusp. So we're doing that. And my cousin, Thea, shout out to you, girlfriend, just gave me, not gave me, I bought it off her, but her car, 2006 Jetta Volkswagen. I'm naming her Miley. She's dark gray. Miley and I are going to have a time together, guys. We're going to drive around in Miley, okay? We're gonna deck her out. I want some lights in her, and I want some like air fresheners and like cozy seat cushions. If you want to get me any Christmas presents, I really like things for my car. I'm gonna get Blanky. We're gonna fully stock her up. But yeah, so that's really cool. So I don't know where I was going with that, but I have a car now as of Tuesday, which is super fun. Just the universe, man. Just talking about that just like tweaks me out. Oh, I was just talking about life changes. I can go into life changes. It's gonna be a time when we go into life changes. Because I don't know how long we've been on for.
I think an hour and a half now. Because we started at 10, pretty much.
Okay, cool. We started at 10 pretty much. That's dope. Angie Diaz, Natasha Ayala.
Did you jump back in again?
I love you, Nini.
Yo, I was gonna quickly talk about.
Angel Escalera is watching.
Yeah, he jumped in.
Hi, Angel.
A few minutes ago.
That's dope. Zach Sneeringer, hey, my dude, how you doing? You are doing awesome things, I see, out in school. You look like you're having a dope-ass time.
Sound Society, that's what it was.
I love it, yes. So, Angels, I don't know if you were here when we were talking about this, but we were just, Carla cries. We were just talking about how, like, everything conspiring is super, super cool and perspective on people and places and just time and the universe bringing people together. Like last night in Jeff's porch, I think was the best. Like that's like such a good representation of having it. And Nini, you're here too. It was V and myself and you, Angel, and you, Nini, and Jamie and Bridget. And was that it? Was there somebody else? And anybody else? I don't know.
I think that's it.
I think that's it. Yeah. But it was all of us. And I go, we all came from Lowell High School. And we all came from Lowell, and that just literally blew my mind. I was like, because I think about it, but having that physical representation of literally all of us there was so tweaking and like just so like wow, because we're all so successful, I feel like, in what we want to do, and you know, we really try to promote that. And that was super duper cool because the universe conspired to put us in that place all together at the same time. So we can bask in the glory of all of our friends living their best lives and being super, super cool. So I don't know. That's like so cool. Thinking about how you know the people. And it all goes back to being grateful, my friends. If you take everything as a part of your day and take every part of what you have with you in your day, you're like, you're not gonna be upset. So let me break it down for you. So I have a lot of people that I know that are half glass full, half glass empty, right? I'm a glass full person. I'm a glass like full person. I'm a very positive person. And being positive all the time is not good. Being positive all the time and ignoring other feelings is bad. Don't do that. You have to really work out that kind of thing on yourself. And you do have bad days and you do have good days. And you have to acknowledge both of those. But thinking about, what I like to think about it is I heard this somewhere once, and I feel like I heard it from Amy Liss. Amy Liss has been one of my biggest mentors in school. She's my boss right now, technically, for student activities, but she's just a beautiful human being and is very, very, very positive, very passionate about what she does. And so she was talking about like problems and inconveniences one day. And I took what I took from her, but what I took from her ended up being everybody in their daily lives thinks as a lot of things that are like little inconveniences as problems. They wake up and they're like, my alarm didn't go off, I lost my keys, my coffee spilled all over me, and I'm late to work. And they're like, my whole day is ruined because of it. My whole day is ruined. You have 24 hours in a day. whether you are fully awake for that or not. And 5 minutes ruins your whole day. Why does 5 minutes ruin your entire day? You know what I mean? It's because you're living in the past recurringly that entire time, the rest of the 24 hours, right? So a lot of what people think of as our problems are literally just inconveniences. It's really going back to about being grateful. Like, I am so grateful for what I have and for the people that I know and for what I can do. We all complain. I'm like, I'm freaking tired. I have dance practice tonight. I have to go and sing. It's like, boo, you care. You have to go do what you love to do. How sad is that for you? It's not sad. It's what you're supposed to be doing, right? It's like, oh, I have to, you don't have, first of all, you don't have to do anything. Second of all, I'm doing what I'm doing because I like what I'm doing or because I need to do what I'm doing to survive. Either or. There's two different ways of looking at it. But, it's about taking a step back. You tell us that all the time. Something I've learned from Vitana is like in dance. Like this summer, I was dancing 5 nights a week for I was dancing 5 nights a week with Intermission, and we were doing like 4 or 5 hours a night. And I was doing 3 nights a week with them, and then like 3 hours a week with Mill Advised. I was dancing at least over like 20, 25 hours a whole week, like consistently. And it became a lot because your body gets tired and you get tired and your brain mentality gets tired and your capacity for people gets tired and you just become, you get drained, right? So that happens. But we'd be dancing and we'd be in class and you'd be teaching or something or we'd be doing whatever and you'd be like, all right, everybody freeze. You all look like you want to die. Why? Yeah. Why do you look like that? And it's because, and he's like, it's because you're not being grateful. And that really did stick with me.
It did. I'm so glad someone it stuck.
No, it did.
Someone was vocal about it. Because I don't know about anybody else.
I think of it all the freaking time.
Okay.
Because you let the little inconveniences pile up in your head and bother you.
I felt that shit. I wanted to slap everybody.
He was like so mad. He was like, halt. I'm not doing anything else until we all like literally get out of our freaking heads.
I remember one day he got really mad.
Angry. I've never seen Vitana that angry my entire life, actually. I think when the day comes, I don't want to see that. I don't think he's going to. But yeah, no, but that super duper resonated with me because he was like, stop. Why are you all here? What are you doing? You can walk, you can leave right now. You don't have to be here. Why are you here? And then people kind of like perked up again and like started doing that. But at the end of the day, his main thing was like, be grateful. For why are you dancing? Why are you here? You don't have to be here. Like, you're choosing to be here, and why? If you're like, I've had knee problems for a long time, and that was one of the biggest things I was getting over when it came to dance. Because I know that myself personally, I like having power control, right? Yeah. And surprise, when your body starts doing something that you don't want it to do, you don't have any power control anymore. To a certain extent. Yes, I do. But my ligaments are stretched out, boys and girls, and no matter how much brain power I put into it, they're going to still be stretched out. So now I have to redirect my pathway. And my plan was to not have that happen, but I have to redirect that and be like, how can I work with it? And it was really frustrating the whole summer. Or like I was getting over it slowly, but like summers before that was a big thing. And even now this year. And I took my own initiative and joined Pure Movement and I've been doing different things nutritionally and having that kind of guidance and also going to physical therapy, and that was super cool. And that's helped me there in that way. But it's all about being grateful because to me, at the end of the day, if you I just think about it. I'm like, I have so many assignments. I have school. Like, I'm freaking tired. I have 3-4 papers due. And I'm like, I don't want to do anything. I just want to go to bed. I don't want to post on social media. I don't want to do anything. And then I think about it, and I get like so mad and frustrated with what's going on, or like you work yourself up, and then like you think about it, you're sitting there in bed that night, or just thinking about it in general, and I'm like, I have the privilege of being in school. Know how many people would freaking kill to be in school? A lot of people would.
Actually, more than I feel like people can even comprehend.
Know how many, I complain about having to get up and go to dance. Know how many people would literally kill to do that? To be able to go see their friends, be in a dance studio, and actually just vibe and have a good time and do that. You know what I mean? It's like literally crazy when you think about it. Because it's like, at the end of the day, if you're saying all these little inconveniences, are like, whatever, and they're like, if you take all that down, you're going, I'm not considerate for the people and experiences that I have around me, and I don't appreciate them. And I know that you do appreciate them, or I appreciate them. So that's not what you're really trying to say. But by spewing all these inconveniences out and making them ruin your day and like whatever, you're like, I dropped my coffee and I lost my car keys and I'm late to work. You have a car and a job and a way to work, don't you?
Yeah.
So, like, I get you can complaining's fine.
Yeah.
Don't bottle it up. Like, don't bottle it up. That's cool. But you have those things. Again, how many people would literally kill to be able to say that they can go to work every day or go to dance every day? It's really taking that perspective. And if you look at life and you take those inconveniences and redirect them and don't think of inconveniences as problems anymore, like, people don't have food.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking about, like, starving Africa perspective that we always see. People that literally live next to you and I every single day in inner cities, that live in places that are not only low income, but that are food deserts or places where they can't get fresh local food. They don't have food to sustain themselves. Even on campus, people can't afford meal plans and they don't have food. And you're complaining that the dining hall food sucks.
Yeah.
You're still eating food. You're still, yeah, sometimes. No, you are still eating food, regardless of what it, you know what I mean? It's about perspective. So it's all about perspective. So if you take things into that perspective every day, it helps you. Like
fucking does.
It does. It really,
So
it
much.
really does. Like I'm on a detox right now, and I've been detoxing now for a little over 2 months. I haven't had any meat, any like flesh, any dairy, any animal product of any kind, or like any alcohol or coffee in literally 2 months. I've been eating strictly grains. Now I've been off grains for about a month now, and just fruit and veg, and whether it be raw or cooked or like whatever, we're doing that, and we're working our way up the healing pyramid. Hashtag pyramid. So we're doing that, and people are just like, damn, that must suck. You can't eat anything.
Yeah.
You can't eat what you want or whatever. But like, I'm not looking at it in that perspective. That's not what I'm trying. That's not what I'm looking at it as. Because if I woke up every day and told myself, damn, I can't eat this, I can't eat that, I can't do this, I can't have sushi, I can't have chicken Alfredo, like whatever. Yes, I'm gonna be disappointed. It's all about how you talk to yourself. If you're like, damn, I'm mad excited to eat these strawberries today. If you're like, I can have honeydew and cantaloupe and that's my favorite thing, and you're actually like excited about it, then it's a different perspective, because your brain, like subconsciously, your brain is no longer thinking that you're depriving it of something.
Yeah.
And what I keep telling everybody that keeps telling me, like, that must fucking suck, you can't eat this, you can't eat that, whatever, I'm like, it's literally all about how I look at it. I was like, if I don't think I'm depriving myself, I'm not depriving myself.
Yeah.
And I'm not depriving myself. I'm literally putting nature's bounty into me, and I feel freaking great.
Isn't that crazy?
Isn't it crazy?
Yeah.
I'm not putting fucking plastic into me or gross ass things I don't need. And I feel awesome. And I feel awesome because of that. And I'm like, if feeling great is apparently depriving myself, I don't think you know what feeling great is all about. Like, I don't think you know what the process is all about. Yeah, that's just going back to perspective. But yeah, at the end of the day, I think honestly, if you have people that love and support you, and you have an outlet for what you want to do, and you're able to even have things to help you sustain doing what you want to do, and people to love and support you in what you want it, and like in what your passions are, or even have an outlet for that, or have a roof over your head and can eat something every day, you're literally doing fantastic. You're doing better than 80% of the world's population.
And I want to say, because there's always things to be grateful for, especially when we talk about having a supportive system and stuff like that. For those who have none of those things,
Yeah.
and I think that I've been learning how to see that as an advantage. Also, just because I watched a lot of Gary Vee, and when you just really put things into perspective, and you, especially when you work for all the things that kind of come into your life, if you have the opportunity to do what you want ultimately, and what I mean by that is you have the ability to make decisions, the freedom to do so. Whereas certain things, like where people, like if you're in prison, I'm saying things like that, or being in a community where you're extremely oppressed and there's a lot of limitations. But if you have the opportunity to make decisions, that in itself is a privilege.
That's
and
such a privilege.
that
Oh
you
my
should
God.
take advantage of. And what was the thing I was gonna say? Like, you're not having things is an advantage, because I don't know. it makes you want to strive for stuff. Even if you don't have support, because that's the thing too. It's like you don't necessarily need all of those things in place to be successful.
Oh no.
Because sometimes people have an excuse of, well, I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't have a support system. I'm like, my dude, like, I went against everything.
You're your own support system.
I had nothing. Like, it has to start from somewhere.
System.
And it comes with time. And so you always have to start with yourself first.
You're your biggest advocate.
Like, that's the biggest thing.
That's the biggest thing. That's what I tell my kids or people that my friends all the time. You know what I mean? Like, you're your own support. At the end of the day, no one cares more about your own, like, well-benefit and your own self than yourself. If you're not advocating for yourself every single day, no one's going to do it for you.
Nope.
No one.
Never.
No one's going to do it for you.
And people...
People
it's hard.
It's hard, but then people also put it on other people.
No, that's what I'm saying.
You know what
I was going to get into that.
People put it on other people. They're just like, okay, yeah, well, you're not supporting me, and I'm not getting this, and I'm not getting that, and that's why I'm not successful.
Yeah.
No, it's because you're not supporting and advocating for yourself is why you're not successful. And there could be other things and adversaries that they're going through. But at the end of the day, if you're not sticking up for yourself and doing what you want to do because you want to do it, because you have the choice to do it, then you're not looking at it from the right direction, I feel.
Yeah. I just feel like people need to remember that, like, if you think you have it hard, you can't, like, everyone has it hard on some level.
Everybody does.
It's really difficult to expect so much from someone else to try and help you get to a certain place. So when you have that reliance, and I see it from people, and it makes me sad when I'm able to, and this is just like, Facebook, social media, whatever, when I just do my little scroll for like 10 seconds, and I see certain things, and I'm like, I don't want to say bad, because I think sympathy is like, I'm not really about that. I do more so to understand. I'm like, okay, I get where they're coming from. I know where that mindset is. That was something that I used to believe in 7 years ago. And I wish that wasn't the case for them.
Or they're like, the world's against me. I don't know where to go. Everything's on top of me. I don't like people.
These kind of people suck.
Yeah, like, I don't hang out with these people. They're, whatever. Like, yeah, like,
it's hard.
It's
fucking
hard. It's hard to blame other people besides yourself, because no one wants to take accountability for literally anything. Ever. Everybody always finds an excuse for everything. Me, like, sometimes me included. Sometimes I'm sure you're included, right? No one's perfect, and we're not sitting here preaching to you saying that we're perfect human beings that do this all the time. We're just saying that we've learned and grown and seen these perspectives and see how they can differ from one another. But people do that all the time. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just think
I haven't talked about this stuff in a while, actually, and at least in my head, because I'm not like focused on that. But when you take accountability for things, it's hard, because you're like, fuck, it was my fault. I think that's hard to say.
Owning up to your own mistakes is the biggest thing.
But
saying you're sorry and owning up when you do.
But when you do, you realize that you're in control. That's the thing. It's like, oh, I did it. It's like, then that means I can also do better. So I can, next time I won't do this, or I'm going to try so much harder next time, instead of being like, well, fuck this person, and then you kind of, it's like, okay, now you have no reason to change, right? Because you're like, I want them to change, but you can't do that. I mean, if you think about it, even you're not willing to change. So it's because that's how not most, but a lot of people are like, sometimes stubborn. But once you really put the weight and the responsibility on yourself, which is hard at first, but once you can do that and you start, doing the push-ups and start taking responsibility, like, my fault, I did it, I'm the dumbass, now let's try and work through this. That's when things get way better.
That is, well, as soon as you take accountability,
because you're not waiting.
Yeah, you're not waiting
for an apology
or anything,
for help,
because you realize it was you that did it.
Yes.
And the second that you take the accountability for your own life and actions is the second you can understand that to move on. Because at the end of the day, your choice was your choice, right? And you can blame 20 other people for either not supporting you or for giving you that choice or for forcing you to something. But at the end of the day, you made that choice for yourself. unless it was something that was out of your control and power, which does happen.
Yes.
100%. So that's something that's completely different.
Yeah.
But if we're talking just strictly on the terms of free will and the fact that like no one's constrained on anything, like a lot of people that like live like that, if you're in a war-torn country or if you're in a place where you can't make your own decisions and your own choices and it's very difficult, obviously that's a different perspective. But from a day-to-day choice, perspective and like living like we do and knowing that you're your own human being that's not in like a communist regime or that has that has your own power or something like that, knowing all of that and knowing that you control every action you do in your life, as soon as you take accountability for all of your actions is when you can start, like you said, having your own power, because you're not a puppet anymore. You're like people, like whether people tell you to do something or not, you like deciding whether or not you're going to either do that or not do that, or the outcome that you make for yourself. As soon as you realize it's all you that's doing it, nothing else can come at you. People can come at you. Things can freaking come at you and tell you this, that, and the other thing and try to persuade you and sway you. But if you're direct in what you want to do and you understand that you're accountable for your mistakes along the way and for things that go about it along the way, all you have to do to think about that is, again, getting better. If you're pushing forward and living in the present and looking towards the future and not just being like, damn, this person didn't do this for me. I didn't do this for myself. Why did I do that? Self-reflecting is beautiful, but it's self-reflection in the terms of reflecting to grow from that and then move forward, not reflecting and staying in. It's like literally like putting your key in the ignition, just having it keep going. Like, great, your car's starting, but where are you going?
Yeah.
Where are you going? Like, you got your car starting, but you're not pushing forward. Putting your key in the car and then going from that is cool. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I was gonna put all of that just into simple terms.
Yeah, go ahead.
So straying from.
Hi, Raph. Hi, Natalia. Hi, Bridge. I love and miss all of you. Continue.
If your friends suck, you find new ones. If
Yup.
you need money, you work.
Yup.
If you're unhappy, then you have to change something.
It. And you change it.
And change. So from a biological, physiological standpoint, change is uncomfortable because humans are habitual creatures. Getting a little technical now. But just know that when you're not happy with certain things, staying in that position longer is going to make it harder to try and make changes. So if you want something, just do the opposite of what you've been doing. It's like honestly, really that
honestly,
simple.
yeah. To be
like,
honest,
I go out to, for example, I always go out to clubs and I try to make friends or like go to the bar. Or I go to house parties and like, well, all these things have in common. Well, they're all fucking party scenes. It's like, let's try something different. Yeah. People don't think of that. You know what I mean? So it's like,
they might think they're doing something different.
Yeah.
But it's still the same.
It's like similar or like the same thing. And
it's like you have like ice cream and you're like eating different flavor of ice cream, but you're not trying any other, like nothing else. Like, it's the same thing, different ways of looking at it, but it's the same thing. Yeah, continue. I just,
No. It makes sense. I just think that people need to think a little differently and to be willing to expand what they know.
Oh, yeah.
When I say, like, I hardcore... So here's the thing, right? I mean, you guys know me for whatever our personal relationships are and all the things that you know. There are people in this world that... I project it all the time. Like, if you need something, whether it's me or just, like, trying to... Whether it's they can come to me directly or like giving like little basic tips of like maybe you should try opening up with people or whatever, right? There are some people that I'm like, I'm a little concerned because you look mentally unstable or you've been in the same spot for 3 years, and I'm like, here's a small hand. Then I'm like, all right, now here's a paragraph. I'm like, now let me engage with your content, not because it's interesting, but because a part of me. And like what reminds me is when someone within the circle is like, I am hella depressed, or hey man, I contemplated suicide.
Because then we all kind of think,
and I'm like, fuck, like what have I been doing? I thought I'm like doing my best, right? And so
if people in your own bubble start to go, you're like, shit, you have to help. Yeah.
So when I reach out to like someone, I'm like, I want to at least know that I tried something. Because it's always about like, oh, that random person that says, oh, you're awesome or whatever, or just I actually being helpful by sending stuff of like, look, I know shit sucks and I'm just gonna whatever. And these people that I do this for, one of those people were Kevin. Except I wasn't that hardcore with him. But with recent years of me being more aware of things,
which is interesting because
then Kevin eventually came around.
Yeah.
But with certain people throughout the years, when I'm like, just come to this thing, and a few people come to my head, and some
Bridget Linney,
some do well for themselves, like, oh, okay,
my friend,
right, and then others they just like are stuck, and I'm like, how are you like reject, like not even returning messages. Right, like people do that, and I'm just like,
communication.
I don't understand. I'm like, I'm being so transparent, and I'm like offering things. And I know you're saying I don't understand, but you I do and I don't.
You do and you don't, right?
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter
is, it's crazy to me. Is all.
I know it's like it's so easy, and then also it's not. But the fact of the matter is sometimes people get so overwhelmed with the fact that somebody's reaching out to help them because they don't think they deserve the help.
I understand that too, because I dated someone that felt like they didn't deserve anything.
Yeah. And if you're a human being that's living and breathing on this earth, you deserve the world. And you deserve what's best for yourself. But until you understand that, like, self-love and self-advocacy is, like, your number one thing. And it's not about ego or thinking you're better than everybody else. It's just about taking care of yourself, right? Once you understand that, and once you both understand that you need to sustain and thrive as a person, and then understand that you need people to help you doing that, that's when the barrier comes down. But it takes quite a long time for that. Or if somebody a lot of the time, whether it be in dance or anything, like you try to help people, like people might come to me to reach out to me for something or whatever, and I try to do that, and they're like, oh no, I'm sorry, I'm inconveniencing you, or oh no, I'm sorry, like you took your time to do this or whatever. You know what I mean? It should they're apologizing on their behalf because they're the ones that need the help. And it's like, no, if we're taking our time to do it, we could have done anything else with our entire life and day, but the fact that we honed in on you for 10 minutes to reach out to you to help you is because that's what we want to do for you.
That blows people's minds though.
I know. People just don't think that people want to help people because our society fucking sucks. Yeah. And who was I telling to? I was talking to my cousin Thea today when we sat in her car, which is now mine. Hi, Miley. We sat in my car. Shameless plug. And we were just talking about whatever. And we're talking actually about like sexual relationships and stuff, and we're talking about like STDs and STIs, and she's like your age kind of, and like she's like 25, 26, and I'm like 21. But I was just talking about how in general, people like always want to go for like STD and STI tests now and stuff, or like they have to ask their partners for that kind of stuff. And Thea was just like, oh, like she's a kind of somebody that's older, and they haven't really talked about it much or whatever. And I was like, you can't go anywhere these days without somebody like making sure that somebody's checked for something, which is good, check for something, actually something. And I was like, because nobody believes each other anymore. Yeah. Everybody thinks everybody is out to get them. Everybody thinks the whole world is out to get them. And I have people, not even just her, the other person that she's with, but yeah, I don't think it's generational either. I think that's a cover-up we have for a lot of it. I think it's on a person-to-person basis. But the fact that like so many people just think that the world is out to get them, and because the world is out to get them, that's what's causing their turmoil. But no, you're causing it to yourself. And you're causing it because of certain, you know what I mean, of certain things. But people that think that the world is against them and like don't trust is like a big thing. And that's when people take the time to reach out to people, they just think, oh, what do they want out of it? Or why would Vuitton or why would Kara take their time to talk to me of all people? Why would they take their time to do that for me? We're genuinely trying to help them, but some people don't see it that way. Because they just think that there's an ulterior motive to literally everything. We're just trying to be decent human beings. And people just, you know, some people, it completely comes through. And I think the most vulnerable a person can be is when they accepted that and they asked for help. That's when you're strong, you know, that when you become the strongest version of yourself. If you box yourself up and and blame the world, people are so funny. They blame the world and other people for everything, yet they don't let anybody help them. It's like so paradoxical. They'll say this person did this to me and that's why I can't do it. But if this person reach out to them, they're like, nah, their help won't help me. What do you mean if you're blaming people? People want to try to help you. It's the same thing. Yeah, I just find that interesting.
And that's something that is constant. And I try to really help. I try to help with everything, but... I
know. Me too. I'm a helper.
It's different. The timing's different for everyone. Kevin is literally like always one of my favorite examples because it took him too long.
Kevin,
he's like my longest
project
7-8 years later. Nice, boy. Yeah, I think I met him when I was 18 or 19, and then
really
it was like an on and off friendship. Yeah, really? On and off friendship.
Wait, the same Kevin worked
Kevin Chia.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Our boy. What's the process?
He didn't become active and committed until this year, or was it? Yeah, this year.
And he's now very active and committed to
himself.
To being himself. Yeah, and to doing it everything. And he shamelessly plugs his life coach persona everywhere he goes, which is beautiful because he allowed you to help him, which I find is super, super cool.
But I don't, get mad at that or anything either.
No, yeah, of course.
I feel better prepared to help him today than I would have any time before that.
And it's all relative to time because things happen for a reason, and people meet people and talk to people and do things. If you do, like we always say, trust the process, and like that's like our logo motto that we always say, but it actually in actuality is true. Because if you let the universe do its own thing and just kind of go with the flow and go by it, you can be a planner, you can not be a planner, whatever. Going back to like the very beginning of what we were talking about, but like once you accept that what's gonna happen is gonna happen, no matter what you try to do or not do, that's when you can start to understand and put that into perspective for that kind of thing. I just think that's like super, super important because time and place mean everything. Hi Saudi, hola, ¿cómo estás? Love you. He's my Barbie bitch. Nicki Minaj, beautiful. Once you understand that, like, oh my god, literally leagues and leagues and leagues better than what could have happened, because then you've opened yourself up and you've understood that that's where you're supposed to be at that point in time, and that life is happening at a very fast speed, and that it's not going to change anytime soon. And you can either let it go with the flow and let it continue doing what it's doing and give your most active part in self to try to promote that, or you can just try to keep like Beyblading it and blocking your way out of it and shutting your doors and shutting your doors and shutting your doors, and then just like nothing happens. And I feel like it's about being open too. It's about being open with people.
Yeah.
I feel like openness and being open and being vulnerable is a huge thing. I hate crying in front of people. And it goes back, I know that I hate crying in front of people because it goes back to power, so I know the root of my issue when it comes to that. Like, I hate being out of control, and when your emotions happen, you're no longer in control anymore, and when you're there, and you're like, oh my god, I'm crying, I can't help it, and it's happened to me publicly on many an occasion, and you helped me get that over that too. You're like, you're gonna freaking cry. Cry! Whether or not I'm hiding my face, you know what's going on. So at the end of the day, it's kind of like you can either let yourself be vulnerable and understand that it's going to happen no matter what, or you can just like keep trying to ignore the fact. But regardless, whether or not, again, you're like somebody's actually witnessing you doing that, it's happening. So yeah, that's a big, I mean, like I still am uncomfortable with it, but that's a big thing too. But vulnerability in that aspect, but just about opening doors for people. Accepting help only comes, it's like a whole like tier. It's like you have to be able to trust yourself, then trust other people to be able to accept the help from other people, but you have to have self-love to accept that help. And then you have to be able to be open with other people once you've let them in. And then only, I feel like then once you have all of those down is when you can just work with people and truly work with them and not feel like things are happening that shouldn't be happening, or just be open to that. I feel like there's definitely many layers and levels to that, but it's because you can't have one without the other. I feel you can't have somebody trying to help you but then not trust the person, or you can't expect somebody to be helping you but then like you give them nothing to work with because you're not telling them anything or you're not open with them. So not all humans are bad people that want to take things from you is another cool thing to remember and think of, I feel. Because I look at the good in people before I see the bad in people, and I know it's not a trait a lot of people have, because again, people always think people are out to get them, but I try to see the good in a person, even if they're like an awful, horrible person societally, because we have so many stereotypes and so many things that we think make people good or bad or not, and it goes back to people's morals and individualistic feelings at the end of the day, to be honest. But I mean, at the end of the day, if you're thinking of people as the same as you and trying to help. It's like, you know, you're just all human beings trying to live in the world that was manifested and created for you, and you're there yourself living in that world. And regardless of what you do, the world's going to continue with your ass in here or not. So you got to let it push you around or choose your own path and keep, you know, pushing forward on it. I feel.
Well, I think I'll leave on the last note just because it's 12.
Oh my God. Wow, look at that.
Which is totally fine.
And I was scared we'd have nothing to talk about.
No, trust. Like, these podcasts always, or live streams always go longer.
I know.
But I was going to say the last thing. And just, this is me just thinking about the stuff that we were talking about earlier with, or still, like, with people and, like, not understanding why people don't accept help and stuff, which I do and I don't. I don't as in, like, you're crazy, but I do as in, like, oh, I get it. And so, I think, and I was talking to Angel about this last night, and I think the most powerful thing is in order to communicate to anyone, it's just knowing how to speak their language. And now I'm thinking back to somebody else when he talks about camouflage and how, like, he's someone who's very spiritually in tune and, as you know, is not considered normal by most people, but when he's in a certain environment, he needs to adapt to his setting. So he's like, when he puts on clothes, it's like his camouflage. He's not going to come up into, like he was talking about, like, a recording studio and kind of, like, you know, like, more like hood and, like, that energy. He's not. It's all about identities. Like, coming in, like,
it's all about identity.
Yeah. So if he knows that he wants to not bring on a different vibe and, like, his thing, walking his truth immediately, it's coming in and knowing how to be a part of that environment. So when I was thinking about people I was thinking about that I was reaching out to, almost every time that, no, that's not true. There would be times when I would straight up just be like, you know, authentic and, like, wanting to help and being more than what they would expect from somebody, getting no replies, or just, like, little acknowledgement but no action or no interaction. But then when I speak their language, when I blend in and it's something they're familiar with, the response is heavier.
You can continue. I have a lot. I have not a lot, but I have a, yeah, I connect
So
with
just that, if you're just interested in, like, actually helping people, it's like you just have to know how to speak their language first. And that's something that I'm huge on and something I've realized myself. Just because gaining more awareness, like, if you're around, like, if you go back to, like, me in high school and you talk about vegan, I'm like, what does that mean? It's like, it's not on my radar. It doesn't make any sense. Why would I care about it? And that's, like, a real thing of, like, seeing things that says, like, vegetarian and it not meaning anything and not even thinking twice about it, to now having certain plant things being trigger words of, like, oh, consciousness or, like, spirituality or, like, self. When we hear those things, it, like, it turns on in our brain and we get interested. So it's about frequencies and knowing where people operate and knowing how to speak their language if you truly want to help them, because you can't help them even if you have a good intent. And I've said this on more than one occasion, even if you're right or you're good or whatever that is, it doesn't matter.
No.
You need to, if you want to really get your message across, you gotta be, you have to blend in first. So that they're like, oh, I hear you. I was like, oh, okay, I like, I'm familiar with this.
That point
helps be a great teacher too.
That's I was gonna go look at that. We segued. So that was everything you were saying. Just I like visualizing Teen Block and the kids, because again, if you're trying to be there and you're like a youth mentor and a leader, you're there to connect on them at their level. Again, if you go in and you're like, hi, I am an established faculty member and I have all these charts telling me that this is how you're going to behave and interact if I talk to you in a certain way and give you these certain prompts and whatever, that's not going to get any response. If you go in and you're like, hey kids, I can do a mean shoot and I can, you know, do a freaking Fortnite dance and then also connect, you know what I mean? It's all about that. And that all goes back to connectivity and that, like, if you're coming at, I've learned that actually a lot in communication too with people, because I'm very, like, you know, wholehearted person. I'm very passionate about what I'm doing and I like to talk a lot and get a lot out there, whatever. And sometimes if I hit people with a lot of that at that time, they're like, error, I'm shutting off.
Yep.
Goodbye. They're not getting it. So I could be saying whatever I want to say, but if I'm not connecting with them in that level, it's going over their heads. Or they're seeing it and like deflecting it. They're like, yeet, bye. I'm not going to deal with that right now because they're just not, it's not what their vibe is or just not how they're going to understand it. It literally is mimicking conversation and that kind of thing. I do it when people text me all the time. Like if I end up speaking, and it kind of happens like subconsciously, but I end up texting them how they text me. Yeah. If they're very formal texters, I'll formally text them back. Or even in emails. If a professor writes me a formal email, I'm not going to be like, hey dude, thanks, TY, bye, smiley face. I'm not going to do that. You know what I mean? But even on something more casual like texting, it just differs by people. If somebody's using their emojis, I'm going to hit them with some emojis. If somebody, I just do that. And talking to people too. If somebody is relaxed, and you're going to mimic them being relaxed and hanging out. If you're sitting, give a stick up your butt, and they're, more chill or vice versa, your vibe's automatically not going to do that. But regardless of connectivity, I think it all goes back to identity and knowing who you are, because you have a core true identity that you are and that you live, and that doesn't change regardless of who you talk to. I'm a big proponent of not being fake. Because people apparently, for some reason, think that they'll make genuine connections when they are fake themselves, but it's just fakeness creating more fakeness, which I think is stupid. Personally, sorry if you disagree. I hope you don't. But I act the same way that I act with everybody on all. People. And perspective-wise, if I'm living my daily life, I act the same with everybody, regardless whether it's friends, other people, and that's my true identity, and I have my core values and beliefs. But then you do kind of chameleon yourself, and it's not changing as in shutting things off. It's chameleon. I would being the chameleon actually is really well because you are blending into your surroundings. Yes. I'm gonna come into dance and be freaking hyped to dance to freaking Travis Scott and Drake and be hype as fuck and be with my friends and hang out and vibe and be my true self. But I'm not gonna go get my taxes done the same way, and I'm not gonna go into the classroom and talk to my teacher the way I talk to my friends, and I'm not going to go to a funeral the same way I'd go to a house party. And that's all about knowing how to chameleon yourself when it comes to that kind of thing. And I feel like it's a situational thing. It's very situational.
Sometimes I'm not that. Sometimes with emails, I won't even be professional at all. And that might be fucking weird. But it depends on your values and what you're aiming to do.
Oh, yeah.
So if I'm I'm going to present my best self, I actually kind of don't care if I get this or what they think. I'm just, especially, usually I have leverage in situations.
Yeah.
So I just I would rather.
So you're not coming off the street, but you have they know who you are a little bit.
Usually. So then I don't want to pretend to try and be something. Yeah. So I'm just I'm relaxed, I'm chill. This is LOL smiley. Add some human components to
I know, not just beep boop, yeah.
How they're just really.
Yeah.
And I'm because I think that's top behavior. Ultimately, right?
It is.
Everything is setting.
Anything societal is taught. We were not innately born with how to be in a society. It's all just stereotypes that we follow.
So sometimes I won't do what we just talked about for the past few minutes and just really cut through it and just be nope, I'm gonna be like this because I think this is authentic. And the vibe might be completely different.
And that's totally cool.
But it just depends on you, your values, and what your goals are. So if my goal is to try and help you, and if I feel like you're in a really rough spot at a certain capacity, then I really make an effort to just be at what I believe you're. That hasn't done shit. People just coming in on Twitch, but no one's saying anything, which is fine.
Okay, that's fine.
But yeah, it just depends.
It depends. I feel like at the end of the day, if you've kind of about getting things done, but at the end of the day, if you've woken up and lived your day and gone to bed and you can know that you were your true authentic self the whole day, or at least to the best of your ability, because sometimes we can't do that, or sometimes it's hard or we mess up. But I feel like at the end of the day, if you can go to bed and wake up feeling like you're centered in yourself and you know who you are, and you can also go to bed and wake up feeling that you've made a difference in your day, or at least tried to have been your own self-advocate for the day, then you did a pretty good job.
I agree.
Yeah. That's what I think. Sir?
Any final words?
Well, it's been 2 hours and 10 minutes, and I did not think that was going to be a thing.
Trust.
But I knew it was going to be a thing because I don't stop talking and But we had a really good time, I feel. I want to say thank you. I'm going to do a little YouTuber-y thing. Thank you to all of our viewers that chimed in today. I know they were very good friends and close people that we hold a lot to, of myself and Vitana. And I'm glad that you took a tiny little bit of your day and your late evening to join us, because you could have just rolled past us, but you didn't.
That's true.
Because you have some sort of like love for us, and that means we do. Yeah, but thank you for all of that, and I hope that we can kind of revisit this and go back. But yeah, so I mean, eat your dried apricots, kids. Eat your fruits and veggies. You'll feel much better when you do it. You know you can get a lot more fruits and veggies for the price of one Wendy's meal, even if you don't think that.
That's true.
But it's very true, because you're paying for packaging and plastic when you can get actual nutritional benefit. Go to LifeLive. LifeLive is a beautiful place. It is great. It is in downtown Lowell. There's one in Cambridge. There's places all over, locations all over. Really good. If you're UMass Lowell student, you can take your U card there and get a 10% off discount. So a demi bowl is only like $4, and a full is only like $8.50. And you can get a beautiful coconut water or a smoothie with kale. And all these other really cool things too. Yeah. Being vegan is fun. Vegetarian is fun because you get creative.
Yeah, you do.
You get wicked creative. Like, damn, I can make rice out of cauliflower and I can make noodles out of squash. That is freaking cool. It's super cool. And it's all really good for you. I'm never going back to dairy milk, almonds, nuts. You got me, girl. Besties for life. You can get that stuff in everything. Yogurt. I don't know if you've had almond milk yogurt.
I haven't had yogurt for many years.
It's like just the almond milk yogurt itself.
I'm sure
It's no dairy. It's gluten free. It's either the soy brand or the actual like the ones that make the almond milk and stuff. Like literally, it's so good. Same consistency, same everything, but it's like gluten free, dairy free. Like nothing. There's like nothing bad in it for you. There's a lot of alternatives. I would say explore that.
Yeah.
Because if you talked to me 6 months ago, I would literally have laughed in your face if you told me I was going to be doing a detox where I ate nothing but fruits and vegetables. And now here I am. I have lost 23 pounds. My knees feel better. And we have a good perspective on life. We are happy and healthy and just planning on getting even more happy and healthy. And you can do it too. If I can do it being a full-time college student and doing it at my dorm and everything, you can do it too. It is totally possible, I promise. It's all about willpower and perspective.
I think next time we can talk about that.
Yeah, we could totally talk about that next time.
Because I think
maybe Angel can join us next time.
No, I'll talk to him about.
We can totally do that. This is your formal invite, Angel Escaleta of Pure Movement Gym and Holistic Health. We all three of us next time talking about it. Beautiful. We have a note. Okay, we can finish.
Yeah, I don't really have formal outros.
I know.
But
this is my dad.
This was great, and I'm trying to get over this cough, so that's what I'm gonna do.
I'm gonna eat more apricots.
Rest up.
And go to bed.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you guys.
Bye.
Bye.